funniest man that's ever lived, people have called me.
Episode
598.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Cuz-a-roo. Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WATP. Hello, Rubber Dicks and Cousin-Roos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that applauds Trump for holding on to his campaign promise of more mid-air collisions. I'm your host, Karl. With me today, a man who hasn't gotten the memo on always agreeing with me, it's Adam Busch.
I'm so excited to be back on a comedy show that since I've been on is tackling abortion, suicide, domestic abuse, and now Israel-Palestine. Hilarious.
Today's going to be a lot of fun. You got that right, Adam. Please go to whoarethese.com. That's where you get our email address, voicemail number, link to the subreddit, link to our Discord server, link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and then link to Patreon and Supercast featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every single month. I'm actually scheduling one for Tuesday of next week. We're going to go back and check out some old Patrick Michael podcasts that are no longer on the internet. My buddy Brandon was able to save like 100 episodes. So we're going to go back and check out some of that, maybe some of his music.
We are in his debt.
As well. So we encourage people to get on our Patreon. You get the entire back catalog of all the bonus stuff on there. You can plug in the RSS into your podcast player and listen to the shows as they come out. Everything I do, this little piggy, everything we do on this channel, Point Dabble Point, I put out on Patreon so that you can listen to it on your podcast player. Or you can sign up on this YouTube channel, become a member. You can gift memberships while you're here. We appreciate you guys being here and being a community. When you do become a member on YouTube, you get the bonus shows. It's on the member tab. And also the live shows are all available for you to watch when they're live or anytime thereafter. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up Hackamania. May 9th through 11th, we are going to be in Las Vegas. Hackamania.com, promo code WATP, get 10% off your tickets. You will see the creep off. You will see this little piggy. You'll see the biggest problem in the universe. You'll see Nobody Likes Onions. You'll see Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve. You'll see Tukey Soup. Most importantly, you'll see Who Are These Podcasts live at Hackamania. So check that out. We're looking forward to hanging out with everyone out there. Also, 1 week from today, episode 600. They said it couldn't be done. They said it shouldn't be done. Episode 600 of Who Are These Podcasts? It's going to be a celebration of our suckiness. So we're asking you to please put together some song parodies. If you want to put in some roast videos to send in, we've already been getting some song parodies in, so I appreciate that. Keep those coming. But we'll be celebrating how badly we've sucked for the first 599 episodes of Who Are These Podcasts. Also, we encourage our listeners, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or wherever you review podcasts, and then shit all over us in the comment section. Today, we'll be breaking down Aaron Imholt finally decided to do a good show. Lisa Boswell is smoking a lot of pot. Tom Myers is coming after us with his pale Mind Dog. Jerry Banfield's got a new banger. Opie is bored at Costco. Stuttering John's final drunk stream. We got a lot to tackle today. A lot on our plate. But first, we're going to be breaking down all of the news and excitement around the H3 show starring Ethan and Lisa Klein. Is that how you pronounce it? Lisa? Am I close? Am I in the ballpark?
I don't know.
Well, you know who I think would know the answer to that is my boy Casey Day. What's up, Casey Day?
Hey, Ela works. Ela works. Free Croche. Anyway, hey, guys. How are you guys doing?
Good, buddy. Good to see you. I wanted Casey Day to come on because he's following this stuff closer than I am, and I did a lot of research, and I'm trying to figure it out, but this is becoming a big story in the world of podcasting because what Ethan Klein is doing, and Ethan Klein, we covered H3 years ago on this show. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time we talked about him, we were making fun of his awkward interview with Bill Burr because he was just in over his head. And he's one of these like YouTube guys who becomes a celebrity on the internet and goes viral. And then it's like, hey, I'm big enough to have real celebrities on my show. And it's just like, you're Bill Burr. So we clowned him a little bit for that. But a lot has happened since then. He's been very controversial. him and his wife. And of course, October 7th did him no favors because a lot of this has to do, as Adam mentioned, around the controversy. And I'm not touching any of that. All right, I'm just putting that out there right now. Adam, if you want to weigh in.
I got all these jokes.
If you want to weigh in on that.
No, I'm glad we had that meeting. Good.
It's all you on that.
Invest
So,
in Gaza, baby. You can buy real estate there now. I'm looking to invest in a hotel there.
Yeah, it's smart. That's where the smart money's going.
I
for
touched
sure.
the third rail. I'm still here. It's okay.
All right, let's. I want to start off just lightly with the way that Ethan started a recent episode. It gives you an idea of what this show has become because it has changed a lot, and it's actually on its own channel now. He's got a few different channels, but this one started up in 2017, has 2.75 million subscribers on it, and it's called the H3 Show now. And I'll just give you a taste of what this looks like. Starts off muted.
Familiar background.
My friends, it's me, Ethan Klein, your host, the infallible, the prophetic, the funniest man that's ever lived, people have called me. Hassan,
Say prophetic?
I am prophetic, yeah.
What
What?
have you ever prophesized?
Are you kidding me?
What? Give me an example.
COVID. Okay, here's one just right off the top of my dome. I said within a year of Elon buying Twitter, everybody will hate him.
I don't think everybody hates him.
We're getting there.
I mean, we're getting there, but
They're turning on him. Okay, how about COVID, Dan?
Got
You
a
were
lot
just
of
singing
fans.
about what a fucking prophet I am about COVID.
did you prophesize that? I mean, you read it in the news.
Okay, so you're saying what, like a Nostradamus type of?
Yeah, you like
Well,
to
prophetic
come up with
ha-
some sort of insight or divination on your own.
prophetic.
Divination magic. Also, who is this episode brought to you by?
It's by Shopify, thanks. And thank you to Shopify, who we love, by the way.
Now, back to the divination.
I prophesize that you will have a very successful online shopping career with Shopify.
Oh, wow. He is a prophet. I take it all back.
Well, the colloquial meaning of prophetic doesn't necessarily mean like seeing the future, right? Like, can we define
Well,
that?
I'm not like other guys.
Okay. So right off the bat, we're hearing there's a lot of bells and whistles. We got Chad Zumach's Roadcaster times 8 going on this show. And this applause thing that everyone's going to now has to stop. I'm saying it right now. Enough with the goddamn applause thing. I know I have applause at the beginning of our show, and that's it. There'll be no more clapping or cheering after the very beginning of the show, but these people just fucking hit it. And I realize he has like Tourette's or something. Is that like part of his Tourette's? Is he has to keep hitting that button?
I was wondering that myself.
Overproduction. They pay a lot of people in the studio. There's a lot of producers. You don't want to just be sitting in a chair. I'm sorry, producer Chris, I didn't mean it. But what I'm saying is, you want to be pressing buttons. You want to be looking busy. Or Ethan, yes, his Tourette's is a very unique form of Tourette's. That's why I want you to study him deeper and further, because you are something of a Tourette's. Now, he doesn't have the tits that you're used to, Karl.
Correct.
But he does have the Tourette's. So I
Well,
think you would be an expert in at least a fraction of it.
I could check out someone with Tourette's who doesn't have really nice boobs. I could, try something new.
Cunt nuggets.
Do something like that. All right, so you heard him talk about how he had a prediction that everyone's going to hate Elon Musk. In the world that I live in, that's not the case, but he's saying that it is. But he's taking advantage of that.
Today's the last day, by the way, speaking of Elon Musk. If you want to get these number one Elon Musk hater tees, today's the last day.
This is it.
Yas.
So if you want this one of him in a pseudo SS uniform with everyone's favorite president as a marionette, fighting the deep state since 2017. Love that design.
Yep.
Everybody's coming. Everybody's coming, you guys. There's also the original one if you guys are wanting to grab that one. You can find that somewhere down here. It is.
There it is.
This one, yeah. This one's still up there too for one more day, just today, guys. So get on in there, make it happen. Elon Musk is a piece of shit. That's true.
You know, I have an Elon prophecy.
So what I like about this, it reminds me of Disney's strategy in the 80s and 90s. Like if you want to buy The Little Mermaid, it's only available for a limited time. Then everyone's like, oh, I got to go get that Little Mermaid on VHS before it's not available anymore. He's doing that with Elon Musk as a piece of shit t-shirts. It's like, today's the last day? I better stop hemming and hawing to get on this thing. Let's do
I
this.
hope you're an XL because I got you one.
Hey! Happy days.
I gotta say that music doesn't match the visuals.
No, it's a little off. Again, got a producer just sitting there having to do something.
Yeah.
But the grift is super strong with Ethan. Another sort of characteristic that might be like another guy behind me here. Very similar in a lot of ways.
Well, yes, because he's also very gross, Ethan Klein.
Yes.
And it starts off with he's got this cough. And so he addresses that early on this episode.
He's a twisted dude, man, that Grim Reaper.
That is twisted, bro.
So, okay, so you guys know there's a few things. Cough issues. I've been having this cough. Everyone's like, is the cough never going away? Trust me, I'm equally as annoyed about it as you guys are. Some people have speculated that it is a Tourette's thing, and I think that's partially true. But I think the fact that I have the cough is what makes the whole thing worse. So I talked to my doctor, and I am on a cough-destroying regimen.
Wow.
If that doesn't work, then I'll get an X-ray because I probably have lung cancer.
Oh.
But I do feel like it's already working. So
Okay.
No,
Good.
Ethan.
and a lot of this medicines I've never tried before. So I'm on Flonase.
Flonase. I love the name.
That's good shit.
It tells you what it's all about right there in the name.
Isn't that a common one? You don't know about Flonase?
Never heard.
No, never
It's
heard
good
of that one.
shit. Yeah.
Okay. So he went to his doctor, and the coughing is either Tourette's or lung cancer. Might want to get a second opinion. Yeah.
It's a spectrum. It's a
That's
spectrum.
quite a range right there.
Went to Dr. Nick.
Yeah, well, I hope it's Tourette's. That would be great. But it is nonstop now with his coughing. And by the end of the show where he's talking about the haters on Reddit and stuff, it is nonstop. He can't turn it off. I think it's definitely a nervous thing that he's doing.
And like KC said, there's too many producers because someone had to hit a cough drop.
Yeah, we know.
No pun intended.
There's enough coughing on the show already.
And the wrist thing. Have we all caught on the wrist thing? I can't keep my fucking eyes off the wrist thing. It is.
He looks at his hand and then moves it around. It's like in that Simpsons episode where they're stoned. It's like, hey, Ethan.
It's like a
Yeah, that might be
propeller.
the Tourette's thing. He also sets up something here that will be a theme of this episode, which is any drug that comes up, legal or illegal, he will be extremely curious about, look up, ask questions, and then probably be on by the end of the episode.
Yes.
He's up for
Look
anything.
at those eyes. Look at those eyes, man. Those eyes
Well,
have seen some drugs.
I got to tell you, I find this guy fucking gross. And this is an example.
And the first day I did it, like an hour later, I don't know what it does, okay, but I'm assuming it's related to this. What's the word, dude?
I don't know.
I fucking projectiled like everything
Oh.
out.
Yes.
Like I just got everything out.
Your
it was
name
pretty
started
amazing.
flowing. Like I said.
What does it do? Can you tell me what's the product?
I don't want to hear about that. The guy sprayed nasal spray, and then everything came out of his face after that.
Yeah, this is a 3.5 hour episode.
Yes.
And we have to hear this. Is that really compelling
This
stuff?
is the first a couple segments here. He's talking about mucus coming out of his face. He's like, what is that called, guys? It's called disgusting. It's called TMI.
It's a new Duke. It's a new Duke has come to town.
I know. I'd rather not know about it. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, if you didn't check out Point Dabble Point this week, we had Ricky Melton on the show, the comic who hired John to do the gig in St. Petersburg last month. And he described the sneeze. And it sounded pretty epic the way he described it. Oh, no, we lost Adam. Adam's had enough of our shenanigans.
Very
over here.
disturbed by the snot, I think. I saw the look on his
Probably.
face.
That's,
a lot of mucus.
he did write to me. He goes, we're not talking about sneezing again, are we? I said, well, probably not. Fuck. Probably should have held off on that. Well, here's an example. So a lot of his show is him watching other shows, which turns out to be like everyone's show now. Yeah. And so he's watching Keemstar's show, Lol Cow Live. And he's watching Keemstar with Wings of Redemption and Boogie are on there. And for some reason, Ethan is both on the screen, his video is still on the screen, and his mic is still potted up because all he's doing is blowing his nose and being disgusting.
What the fuck? Why? No, that's all new fucking buttons. What the fuck? Motherfucker, I didn't sleep last night because of this shit. Why won't you have this conversation privately, man? Why are we having this public?
Do you hear that? That's him blowing his nose. Like, if all these producers, could one of them hit mute on his channel while he's doing this?
This is sort of Locale Live's thing. We leave all the mics open for the locales.
No. This isn't Locale Live doing this.
Oh,
He's
this is him
watching
watching
Locale Live, but this is you're hearing Ethan blow his nose in the corner down there.
It's a producer bathroom break. They all go at the same time. They hold hands.
This will ruin my fucking life.
Why? Why? What's in the background?
Because I'm the guy who cried fucking wolf. I'm the one with the fucking liar tattoo on his goddamn fat fucking face. So if you accuse me of anything, then I'm gonna be found fucking guilty. All you gotta do is accuse me of something. If you said I fucking shot Desi in the goddamn head and she was standing behind me, people still fucking believe it. There's no fucking recourse for me anymore.
He's just shoving shit into his nose during this entire clip that he's playing. Like, why is he even on the screen? There's no reason for this. Just show the video that you're showing and then come back to it afterwards.
Yeah, also mute.
Yeah, I mean, all these producers be like, all right, hit less coughs because we got enough of those already. They're in spades. And I don't know, like when I'm blowing my nose and shoving shit up my nostrils, maybe take me off the screen during that part.
Little
Seems like easy
narcissistic
notes.
streak in this one, Karl. He likes to see himself. Don't
That
take
is
me
true.
off the screen. I need to see me.
That is true. All right. So that just to give you a little gist of what I was picking up on watching a show. It had been a while. Oh, it's like Adam is back with us. Yay. What's up,
hey,
Adam?
guys.
Everything good?
Yeah. We're done with the snot.
I just had to vomit profusely.
Okay, well, good.
Clean it up.
You made it quick. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. It's time to address this Reddit stuff because what's happening right now is that Ethan has a number of communities going after him and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And so he's dealing with it very poorly, in my opinion. I think he's doing all of the wrong things, but this is him setting it up.
Well, we got the let's see, the Reddit stuff.
Another tale from Reddit.
No, not that Reddit stuff.
So what the joke there is that they do this segment where they'll respond to people who write into the "Am I the Asshole" subreddit. And so a lot of their show is talking about subreddits and reading posts and responding to it and stuff like that. But this is like, well, no, they're talking shit about me on these subreddits. It's a little different.
I don't know if I even
Wait,
feel
come
like
out to me? Huh?
I said I don't even know if I feel like doing this one. It's so depressing.
Okay, well,
But it's in the title. Excuse me.
we could reuse it for Wednesday and just
Here's
go
what's
with the
happening.
boogie stuff.
All right, so he's reluctant. Now, of course, this is the majority of the show. But he's like, I don't even know if I want to talk about this. As producer Dan's just like, yeah, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. He's like, here's what's going on. Let's get right into it. And I want to break this down quickly, but I want to be accurate about it. So, Casey, please fill in the blanks or correct me if I'm wrong. Ethan used to do this show with this guy named Hassan Piker.
Correct. Well, he sort of Hassan. I would look at it more like he brought Hassan up, like a protege, like an Obi-Wan Luke kind of situation. Like, come
Right,
up
so-
into my liberal politics, you young beautiful man.
They did a show together called Leftovers. It was an American leftist political podcast.
Mhm.
And so they've had a falling out over this. I don't know if you guys have heard about Israel and Palestine aren't getting along. Anyway, so they've had a falling out.
Wait,
over
what?
this.
What's happening? Are you
Well, stick around after, off air, you and I can
But
get
they're
caught
so
up
close
on
to
it.
each other. That's crazy. That doesn't sound.
Well,
Whatever.
and so Ethan's wife was born in Israel. She's Israeli. And let's not forget that her brother is married to Trisha Paytas, but that's a whole other thing. And also Ethan Klein's had a huge falling out with Trisha, who was also a co-host on one of his shows with them. But anyway, the big thing is that 2 weeks ago, Ethan Klein put a video out on his other channel, the H3H3 Productions channel, which has 5.71 million subs. This was the first video he posted in 4 years. And it was a content nuke of Hassan Piker. And the goal was to take him down. It has 2.9 million views already. It's widely thought of backfiring on him.
Correct. Yes.
From what I've seen, all it's done is gotten a lot of people against Ethan Klein Because if you're going to be a leftist in the U.S., I mean, for the most part, I think they side with the Palestinians. They're not looking for a genocide. So I think that, Ethan's trying to walk this fine line of like, I'm with you guys, but also, we kind of think Israel's important. So we're kind of on their side. So that was the big drop that he had. And he thought he was going to take this guy down. And it seemed to have just the opposite effect.
Yeah, he sort of amplified. He did the same thing a few years back with Keemstar, when Keemstar was sort of, big, but not as big. He did his nuclear bomb on him, did 3 of them, I think. Mm-hmm. And Keemstar became the biggest personality in commentary, all of YouTube. And so it can really backfire on him, but he doesn't seem to care. He went away last time because it got a bunch of controversies, but we're not even really discussing so he's going after Reddit, but he's also being sued by his housekeeper, which is like very shady circumstances there, what's going on there. And he went after Hassan's mother and related that to somehow she's illegal, but she wasn't. So he's flailing sort of. And so now when the trolls come in, when you're flailing, he's just getting mauled and attacked by Reddit. So now he has pulled the Stut John of all Stut Joe moves. It is right out of that book. I mean, verbatim, it like almost like just wait. He almost says just wait. Yeah. And so that's what's going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're building up to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Point. I'll just bring up real quick. Yeah, the controversy with the employee is that she asked for vacation time or needed to take some time off to get an operation done, and they let her go 2 days later. That's the controversy anyway.
And then there's a lot of within court documents, there's a lot of bad things about that work environment. Apparently, that
there's boogers everywhere.
yeah. She's cleaned up snot nonstop. I can imagine. Right. It's not great. All right, so he goes.
He did say that it was very hard for our maid when our housekeeper got in the way, which is not the greatest offense. When you're so.
All right, so he goes on Reddit and he looks at this video that's been making the rounds.
Can I get a selfie? Sure. Free Palestine. Maybe. I don't care about Palestine. That's sad.
Look, it's Jerry Seinfeld. You know what I mean? I doubt he's that callous about it.
He seems to be.
Seemed pretty callous about it.
I think he's more like
it was a very Jerry.
I think he's just like what he's just responding to a troll. That was my take.
I think there's some.
I mean,
in it though.
I mean, obviously,
he is definitely pro-Israel.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
So a guy goes up to Jerry Seinfeld after the SNL 50 show, I think Sunday night, and goes, "Hey, can I get a selfie?" And free Palestine. And Jerry's like, "I don't care about that," And so apparently, this meme is being used in connection with Ethan Klein, and Ethan doesn't like that, so he's trying to push back against that.
Anyway, obviously, I disagree. Right? Free Palestine, whatever. The point is, not whatever. Free Palestine. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Oops. Yeah. It's supposed to seem like you care about it a little bit more than that. Yeah. Free Palestine or whatever. No, I'm with you guys. I'm on your side. Let's go to a rally or something. Whoops. Okay. So this is where we start to get into the crux of things, because there's this subreddit called Faux Moi. And our buddy Ethan has a hard time pronouncing that.
The point is this was posted on this subreddit, Faux Moi. Did I say it right?
Faux moi.
Almost.
For moi.
Faux moi.
Which means...
Not I, maybe? No. Let me look it up.
Faux is like fake.
Moi means me.
Wasn't it
It means I'm a phony.
play on that?
I'm a phony.
Isn't it a play on the famous Instagram account?
It's a play on du moi, which means...
Fucks moi.
To me?
Well, anyway, you guys probably know about Faux Moi. It's a gossip. It's a big gossip Instagram page. Is that? I don't know if it's more serious than that.
Okay. This was the title of the episode. This is the thing he wanted to get to address, and he does for an extended amount of time, and none of them were prepared to talk about it. None of them knew what it was. He didn't know how to pronounce it. I just found that kind of astounding. Shouldn't this be the main thing that you know about?
A lot of eggshell walking going on around Ethan Klein. If you're the producers, that is a nice check. He gets paid a lot from YouTube. So yeah, no, I didn't read. Oh, you sent me that thing? No, it was bad about you. Nope, I didn't see it, boss. Nope.
Yeah, does that even exist? I don't know. No one's even talking about it. Probably not even a thing.
Yeah, you said it, Casey. You can hear their silence when he does a lot of his talking about these things because no one knows what to say. And they do keep him in check about certain things. They just stay silent about this. And it's funny, when he does say something they can agree with, they now have to go out of their way to agree with him because they're like, look, see, I agree with you. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. But then these things come up and he's trying to play that whole, I heard it from somewhere. I don't even know where. I don't want to give them any, attention. But also here's the name. Like he's playing all sides of it and no one quite knows what his angle is going to be yet, so nobody can speak.
Yeah, good point. And if I'm his staff, I'm surprised at what his angle turns out to be. So this is where he starts getting into that.
And they have a large following on Reddit.
Very large.
And they've become one of these like snark. I think the mods in this are the same ones as snark. There's like this insane crossover. And it's just turned into like a H3 snark subreddit to the point where it's like all their top posts seem to be about like anything about me and then like old stuff about me.
It's in the top 1% of Reddit, 4.4 million members.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's like literally one of the biggest. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that big. So here in the comments of this clip of Jerry saying, I don't care about Palestine. No wonder Ethan and Hila love him so much. They have a lot in common. I mean, the only thing I have in common with Jerry, as far as I can tell, is that we're both Jewish.
So he's trying. So immediately that goes viral, that clip of Jerry. And the first comment is just like, hey, look at it. It's like what Ethan's stance is on this too. He's just like, whoa. We got nothing in common with Jerry Seinfeld on here. Isn't it interesting too, to what you picked up on, Adam, where here's this huge subreddit, 4.4 million subscribers. And we're going to see all they've been doing is posting about Ethan Klein. And his staff is looking up like, oh, yeah, I guess this is pretty big. It's 4.4 million. It's like, oh, really? Okay, yeah, wow, it's bigger. If there was a subreddit with 4.4 million people, I'll say what a piece of shit I am. Then I know I made it. But also, I would think the producer Chris would know about it. Maybe Lucy Tightbox would have some knowledge on it.
Trying to get fired.
I saw a similar thing happen in a different episode where he was showing some posts with statistics he didn't like, and he was trying to disparage the website, and he said, I don't know what this CARE website is. Nobody knows what this is. Who even knows if this is a reputable source? And his producers had to slowly creep in and be like, yeah, it's like a real source with real credibility, and that's why we put it up there. It's not just some post. This is a very factual place. And it's interesting because he makes these bold proclamations, but he's very quick to like, okay, well then that wasn't the cause of the genocide. Like, wow, okay, that was fast, which I love it as a quality in a person, but not in like, I guess, the political leader he's now trying to be.
Yeah. All right, well,
he does Palestine, the thing, whatever.
Or whatever, yeah. He does the thing that I would recommend nobody do. We see Patrick Michael do this. He can't help himself. He starts going in and reading individual comments within this thread. Now, remember, and this is one, you heard him talk about Snark. There's another subreddit just dedicated to not liking him. It's H3 Snark. We're going to talk about that. We got this one. There's another one as well. So in my head, I'm already going, oh, there's thousands of people commenting about what a piece of shit Ethan Klein is. So if that's the case, I wouldn't start reading individual comments on there. But hey, I'm not Ethan.
Hold the phone. Who, boy, that's the H3 dude, right? He's a hardcore Zionist, too. I wonder why I stopped seeing much about him after their sub was hitting the front page every week for a while. Yep, unfortunately, he's a full-on Zionist. I think a lot of it has to do with Hila, since, she was literally in the IDF and born there. Again, born there being some kind of... I find that odd that that's...
That's in the negative column.
Yeah. Brainwashed, and he even said she reads the news to him. What? I don't even know what the fuck that's referring to. But
I think they're saying that.
Why are you talking about it?
Like, that she watches news from Israel sometimes.
Yeah, and she
like in
relates
Hebrew.
it to
Yeah,
you.
who doesn't look at the news in their own native country?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
People are so weird about Israel media because, like, you'll see people all the time being like, even according to Israel media, they said this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, it's like, oh, she reads Israel media, so she's obviously brainwashing the Zionists. It's like Israel is a free society with free press. It has the whole gambit
range of
media
opinions
sources,
in the press,
just like America does. You know what I mean?
Am I crazy? This is a bad strategy on his part. He's been around it a lot longer than I have. He's been through this before, but this seems crazy to me to talk for that long about just a single post that one Reddit user put up on the website.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Yeah, not a good strategy.
I think he does care a lot because we're going to hear about what a victim that he is.
To the point where there's like this faux moi, there's YouTube drama, there's snark, and now I even started seeing it on this subreddit. There was an attempt that seemed to all be somehow run by these people, and it's come to the point where it's just like completely nonstop, relentless. Like the harassment that me and Eli are receiving is just genuinely unfucking comparable. Like nothing I've ever dealt with.
All right. So he's a victim now, even though this is like a very controversial guy who made his bones by being kind of a shock jockey kind of guy and telling people how it is and saying
He did this
outrageous
exact same
things.
thing to other people all the time. If you go back in his history, he was this guy. He was the guy on Reddit who was snarking other people and shitting on other people. It's a complete 180.
Yeah, it reminds me of Perez Hilton, who got famous by drawing dicks on people's faces and dicks jizzing on their faces. And then he was accepted by the Hollywood community, just like, yeah, that's crazy. Doing that kind of stuff. Whoa, I can't even imagine doing that sort of thing. But this is the same thing that Ethan Klein is doing. Just like, geez, I can't believe they're going after people and making shit up about their personal lives and speculating on their belief system. You can't?
He must be searching himself every 5 minutes because he's like, oh, a new one popped up. Oh, look at that. Just popped up. New one. Now they're talking about me too. You can't live your way like that.
But also, isn't he encouraging? Isn't he encouraging more people to post? Like, holy shit, he's reading the individual posts now on his show. Sweet, this fucking piece of shit is a blah blah blah.
They smell blood.
Yeah, it seems like a really bad idea.
I think he's someone who, he's in a rare spot that most people don't get to experience, which is, he's been broadcasting to a large audience for over a decade and remaining very isolated and very unchecked in certain ways. And he's been through a lot of controversy and a lot of heat and almost lost his job many times. I'm sure before weighing into this world, he was like, I've dealt with the haters. I can handle this. But there's a couple topics that you're being naive if you think you can dip your toe into, and it's not a whole new level of, this is beyond trolling. This is like, you need security if you're going to dive into this from every side, from everyone. It's crazy to think that he can just have these opinions and not expect anything in return.
Yeah, it is getting pretty brutal for him. And I bet he wishes he had done things differently, although he doesn't say anything like that. Instead, he acts like this is illegal, what's happening to him.
To the point where I don't know how it's allowed on Reddit. Like an organized harassment campaign spreading across multiple subreddits, targeting like two specific people. It's so fucked up that Reddit allows this and doesn't do anything. It's like, well, I don't know. They're literally waiting for someone to kill themselves. Like it's so fucked up, dude. It is so sick.
All right, let me explain it.
Did his hand just say "do it"?
Yeah, right.
That's
you're right. He looked at his hand like,
no,
should we strangle you now? Or this is
I heard
crazy
him say those
because
exact same words about you, Karl. He said those exact same words about you, John, in Discord. It's the exact same thing.
He's a public figure, right? And so the fact is just like, I can't believe that they're allowing people to comment on me and say all these awful things about me. It's like, no, you know exactly why that is. And you know that you've been very controversial. I'm not going to get into the list, but he's going to talk about it, which is also a weird strategy where he starts showing me all of these pages that are showing you what a piece of shit he is. You'll see him in a minute. He goes through and starts showing it to you, and you just start going, as a listener or viewer, I'm like, oh, maybe these people on these subreddits are onto something. Maybe you are garbage.
He is.
All right. Well, I think that this is definitely the exact wrong thing to do when you're mad at Reddit.
This is from YouTube Drama. H3 is pursuing legal action against Reddit group H3 Snark, which is just a fucking insane, outright freakish lie. 7,000 points. The people that looked into this have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And I will get into this soon. And I promise you it will be good. So just stand back and stand by. But what they're referring to is just a DMCA. Like one of their posts of like the hundreds, if not thousands, got DMCA'd. And so the story is that I'm trying to sue them and silence free speech because one post of 1,000 got DMCA'd.
Do you see where the optics are not great for you, Ethan, on this? So he is upset that other people are clowning him on Reddit, these subreddits. And so he had his attorney go in and DMCA, which is pretty much a copyright claim, and get the post taken down. Now, whether that was justified or not, I'll go through and read what his attorney said. But I just think that it's a really bad move when you're just fueling this fire.
He's also lying because he took a YouTube video down as well. We
Okay.
covered that on Blind Mike 2 weeks ago, where just he people had disagreeing views literally on the Israel-Palestine situation. He's like, I don't like that, take it down. And they took it down. And so it's more than just one Reddit post. He's just lying.
Yeah. So he's out there actively striking channels and content, and he's trying to defend himself, which is a bad move when he can't talk about it. You can tell right there. He's like, when the time is right, I'll give my side of things. Like, okay, well, then why are you bringing it up now? Because it just makes you look worse.
They could, of course, read. I mean, it is a well-reasoned statement by our attorney that they could just read that. It explains pretty thoroughly and legally why certain posts were DMCA'd. But I promise you guys, just stand back and stand by. I don't need to get into it now, but I will explain everything.
Okay. So was that the one I just played? No. So this is the actual note that was sent from the attorney. Because he's like, why wouldn't they just read it and then they'll understand what's going on? So I read through this, and basically what he's saying is there was a video clip taken from one of his shows, H3 show number 85. And they pulled a clip from it and they posted it on Reddit. So the video was being hosted on Reddit rather than linking to the YouTube page that would be like his YouTube page. And so the argument is that it's not fair use, but he's saying that they're not adding additional content or context to it by posting it on there. I don't know if that's true or not. I know this hasn't worked for Brendan Schaub. I know this hasn't worked for a lot of people who have gone after content in this way. But that's basically the argument that they're making, is just like, hey, I mean, if you want to tear apart this clip, then just link to our channel when you do that so that we get the ad revenue from it.
Yep.
There could be some merit to that. I don't know that it's that crazy of a thing that this is where you would give all of these people the fuel, because I know, KC, when we see these content creators who start to squirm into the corner and they don't know how to get out of it, that's when all of a sudden legal threats and cease and desists and DMCAs, it's like all of that stuff, all it does is get more and more people paying attention. Like, oh, what's going on? What's Ethan Klein doing? He's planning on suing these Redditors? Is this what's going on?
And none of us would take it at all seriously at all if Ethan Klein wasn't also the one that helped set the field that we play in as far as terms of service with his fair use lawsuit in 2016. So this guy is well-funded, has lawyers that work in the field, and will waste all his time and money on stupid shit. So that tells you that he is actually a possible existential threat to universes like this, Dabbleverse, Shitverses, Clippers, all those people, because his one act alone, fighting it all the way up to where he wants to fight it to, could say, it's not enough to just cut this stuff. You have to add certain stuff every 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. And that could literally put the Clippers out of business. So Ethan Klein thing is something serious to watch here for everyone involved in a shitverse of their
When it was working for him, he had no problem with it. And now it's working against him.
He made the $20 million, and now he's using the $20 million that he made from it to destroy what he made. Congratulations. I would hit the clap if you let me.
He's also, again, playing the victim. I think he's making shit up.
He is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me play this clip. When he says this.
She's 100% right. But they just create any little amount of doubt to crazy make and to make us look insane. So that's
crazy make?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's like when a group of people collude to make try to make someone lose their mind by like mass gaslighting them, which is something Hassan's community does, and just in general these activists do. I've noticed.
So Hassan's community is doing this covert operation called Crazy Make, where it makes you crazy.
And he's making him crazy by showing clips of his show, like unedited. There was one clip I saw where Ethan is like, I'm not a comedian. That's not who I am. So anybody who says he's watching a clip of Hassan saying he's a comedian, he's like, I'm not a comedian. I never said I was a comedian. So Hassan shows you a Barnes and Noble Baloney Factory style video of the hundreds of times he referred to himself as a comedian when people accused him of being a journalist. When they would ask him to hold any accountability or take responsibility, he'd say, I'm a comedian. My job is to make people laugh. Look, they're all laughing. So that's a bit of gaslighting on his part. I also think it's a bit, I don't know, how does his audience feel about this? Because as far as I know, they used to enjoy him and the Trisha Paytas going back and forth about celebrity, pop culture, morning show stuff. And now I looked at, one of the things Hassan accuses him of is talking about genocide and then going right into his Teddy Fresh brand ads. And I think that is something he does without even noticing. It's a skill he has. He's not even aware that he's exercising. But if you look at just the topics on this episode we've been watching, a couple in a row are man ate his own foot, into American lady terrorizing Pakistan, into Teddy Fresh drops, which is ads for their new gear, into Pakistan kids clips, into back to lady terrorizing Pakistan, and then the start of the Valentine's Day special. So, who is this show for? And I can see if Hassan thinks maybe you're being a little disingenuous or insensitive.
It actually is very Aaron Imholt-esque. The way that, and Patrick Melton breaks this down perfectly, is that Aaron's gotten so much into the drama, and we'll talk about him in a moment. He's gotten so much into the drama that he's lost track of what his show is. Like, is this a news program where you give brilliant analysis about geopolitical actions that are happening around the world? Or is this a thing where you call Nick Rekieta a scumbag and lie about the gym that you work at?
It's quite the parallel, actually.
Which one is it? Because there isn't an audience that needs both of those things.
No, and what's unique to him is that he will go from one to the other just back and forth. And it's a bit nerve-wracking and intense to see, and the emotions too. He'll be just heartbroken over something and then just moved on, completely drop it, and have a whole new mood about whatever the ad is he has.
Well, here's
Adam's 100% right here, Karl, because Ethan Klein, we're just missing it. He needs a whole new job. He needs to host a top 30. He could do what Casey Kasem never could. Come out of an upbeat song to a death dedication. You could do it, Ethan.
Right. Wouldn't even complain about it. No problem at all.
Perfect.
All right, so here's doing something I would never have done if I were him.
Comprehensive list of all of Ethan Klein's most controversial, outrageous, vile moments. This is on Faux Moi. Like, how isn't that like a pop culture gossip page? Like, this page has been
culture, my friend.
just turned into a straight up subreddit dedicated to harassing people. Like, they don't even know how to spell my name. Please, you know what I mean?
So he shows that to get sympathy. Like, can you believe it? They're posting all of my most controversial, outrageous, and vile moments, and they have links and everything on there. Can you believe they're doing it to me? And I'm watching it going, oh, I would have find that. So I pulled one out that I just thought was interesting because it seems to parallel what's happening here. This is a guy who worked for a PR firm that represented Ethan and his wife, Hila. And he was a big fan of Ethan Klein before he got this job or before they started working together. And he says, Ethan got back into a call with Gary, myself, and my coworker Trent, and explained in an exasperated tone that he had the perfect plan, and all he needed us to do was act on it. After shouting at me and my boss, Ethan railroaded anything we said, encouraged us to implement a plan to make it look like all of his critics were attacking him from a purely anti-Semitic angle, and that the attack on his brand and character was an alt-right conspiracy from 4chan. When we objected to this racial angle, he insulted Gary personally and told us we were hacks and losers before apologizing, throwing a charge back our way, and ending the contract. So this is his strategies. He goes in and he just bashes the people who are talking shit about him. Like, oh, they're far-right anti-Semites. Of course they don't like me. It's like it has nothing to do with him or anything that he's done.
The fact that he uses hacks and losers is this guy behind me. He's this guy behind me.
Talking about PR professionals. I was pretty devastated, but not because the job reflected poorly on me as a marketer, but because I was a direct witness to the catastrophic fall from grace of one of my idols. I used to listen to their old videos and go to sleep or have a laugh on a bad day, but I will never be able to look at H3H3 Productions the same way again, knowing that Ethan Klein would take advantage of racial divisions in the United States to accuse his critics of anti-Semitism by having us create sock puppet accounts, oversee a plan to reinforce his narrative, and shut down any legitimate critics, with such an underhanded set of methods. I never would have found that. Thank you for showing me that existed, Ethan. I appreciate it. So I think what's happening here in this next clip is he's setting up his lawsuit. That's why you would talk this way.
That's not topical. It's not pop culture. It's literally just incitement of harassment. And they all get thousands and thousands of views, and it's all old shit that just keeps getting dug up and rehashed between these three subreddits.
So he's sitting there and going, wow, this is a vast conspiracy on Reddit, and they're allowing it to happen, and it's all just trying to ruin my life. Like, these are things that you say when you're trying to set the groundwork for a lawsuit against Reddit, which is...
And here are my damages.
Yep, which seems like what he's doing. He also brings up things he probably shouldn't.
This is from 2 days ago. This is from 4 days ago. Resurfaced video of Ethan joking about this Patrice Wilson video, which I'm pretty sure I've talked about recently, but I've definitely talked about it a million times over.
So this is him. He made jokes about this little girl being sexually assaulted.
He's a comedian, Karl.
By a big black man. But I love this defense when, he's just like, yeah, so this is resurfaced. People are talking about this. Like, I've been over this. We already talked about it. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. I mean, I'm all for jokes, but let's see how he explains this.
We watched this video, actually.
We watched this video like 3 or 4 months ago on the show.
And I mean, like, out of context, I see why it looks bad. In context, it makes the whole story as you see it unfold, it makes sense. But that's what all these people do.
I'm sure the whole story about the little girl getting raped makes perfect sense. We're just looking at it out of context.
If you look at the whole Sandusky story, not just the little part, like he was a football coach too.
He was
a defense man. Oh my god,
quality defensive coordinator, linebackers coach. I mean, look how many guys were drafted in the first round out of that program.
There were plenty of other kids he was not attracted to. You're just looking at the ones that he was.
What about all the ugly kids, please?
All those girls, they have cooties. He didn't touch them, so that's good. Gross. So what's great is that Ethan Klein has decided that this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone in the history of the internet.
The amount of harassment that me and Eli have been receiving is unlike anything. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the history of the internet being harassed like this. I'm gonna say that. And that's
that can't be true.
Just give me an example. When have you seen this? Every fucking day.
Chris Chan. You don't have a wiki dedicated to hating you.
The level of it.
So I like that. That was to your point, Adam, where the producer and the other staff have to like push back a little bit. He's like, so this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone on the internet. They're like, well, it's probably not that crazy. No, it definitely is. Can you give me an example? Chris Chan. It's funny. That was the first thing I thought of too. I'm like, they drove Chris Chan fucking crazy. They drove Chris Chan mental. So that would be a pretty good example. But this is what's playing out now. So this episode's this week. And so all of this is breaking news, everything that's going on. And here's another channel that's commenting on this. And this is breaking news.
talking about Ethan Klein. Now, on the H3 Snark, an announcement was made. H3 Snark is on a break. Hey, H3 Snarkers, we're writing to let you know that the subreddit is going on break, effective immediately, until further notice. Please keep an eye out for an announcement in the near future. We appreciate your patience and understanding. And then, after this, Ethan Klein posted to his story, if I can scroll through all his million of stories, he posted this from the H3 Snark and said, "It won't save you scumbags from what's coming. I can't wait for your family, friends, work, and school to know what you've been up to."
Let me pause it right there. So this is Ethan Klein doing a very Stuttering John-esque move right here, where he's going,
wait.
I know who you are, and I'm going to ruin your life. So he's basically saying that he's going to get the people fired or kicked out of their school.
Something's coming down the
relationships will be ruined. Yes. A lot of doxing going on.
Which made it sound very much like he was threatening to dox the mod teams here. And he said, "Dear Snark mods, you have one opportunity to save your ass. Contact us with information about your fellow mods and collaborators, and I will spare you in what's to come. This is your one and only chance." So he's basically trying to say, hey guys, come dox these people to me, and I won't come after you. Now, he's being very vague here about what he's talking about, but the fact that he says in the previous story that your family, friends, work, and school know what you've been up to, make it sound like he's planning to dox them.
It sure does.
Yeah.
The fact that he's just like, if you tattle on your fellow mods, you'll be fine. I'll let you guys go.
Yeah. The irony that he sounds like Christoph Waltz from Inglourious Basterds.
Right.
Not lost on me.
Yes.
No, it's also ironic that very much like anybody who gets too extreme in their politics, they start to sound and become like their enemy. And these are
the
all
horseshoe. Yeah.
He did. Earlier, when he said as a joke, he was like, stand by and stand back. But and I know he'll probably say that was a joke, but he was actually saying, don't believe what you see, don't believe what you read, don't believe what you hear, only believe what I tell you, which is, I don't think something he would feel the same way about a couple of years ago.
Right. Or if it was one of his opponents saying this.
Of course, yeah.
Well, here's my last clip here. Here's the kicker. I love this.
What have I done again? Can somebody remind me what is my crime? You know what I mean? What the fuck is it that I did?
It's fantastic.
It's so sick, dude.
It's fantastic that he gets to that point after going through. Here's a whole list of all the horrific things I've done, and they've linked to all of them. And here's me laughing about this little girl getting essayed, blah, blah, blah. And he's going through all this stuff, and he knows what he did. He knows it all has to do with people are very passionate about this Palestine conflict that's going on. And so that's really the crux of it. And then he has to go out there and be like, I don't even deserve this, guys. What did I ever do to anyone?
And I have a cough.
Yeah. Somebody please remind everyone that I have a cough.
Karl, let me just make one more point, and I'll get out of here and let you guys get on with your other stuff. But I came on here today to make a plea. No more Stut Joe. He's gone. Please make this the new Stut Joe. I've already made him the Earl of the Ethan verse. We've got a name. But, okay, here's how they compare. Here's the tail of the tape.
I think we do better than Ethan verse, but all right, keep going.
I'm just spitballing here.
All right.
But they both use LA City backgrounds. We wouldn't even have to change our palettes. Our palettes are the same.
Yep.
One's a stutterer, one has Tourette's. I mean, big deal. Same thing. One has an alcohol issue, and one, may have an Adderall Ozempic issue. If you read those Reddit pages that are no longer there, that's what they said. Also, he doxes his enemies.
I realize he's looking like he lost a little bit of weight, but is that really was that bad before?
Yeah, that wrist is flicking faster than it ever has, Karl.
Okay.
That is an Ozempic assisted help right there. It's like
very
HGH.
possible.
Yeah. He cries when he's trolled, but he trolls others. So in the same sentence, he'll be like, "We all need to get Hassan. Why are they getting me?" So he's exactly like Stuttering John. He's like, "We'll get them. Why are you getting me?" He entices the trolls to turn on each other, creating a universe of tattletales and fucking misanthropes. He started in the political world. Who else do we know did that? They both spilled over into the lolcow world now. Drop the needle on Ethan. It's the same thing. He looks weird and he's probably flicking something. They both have a hateable, punchable face. Which is
all right.
But
I like this complete list. Like some of them, just like, well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Here's
some
my
of them are a
final
little bit more
point.
spot on than other ones.
My final
hateable,
point, Karl.
punchable face.
Yes, so many of us do. But here's my final point. If you covered him and it was successful and Ethan shot back and a new universe started, guess who you could have on the show to talk about it? That's right, Stuttering John. He would come on. His ego would be damaged so much that he was replaced by someone with real money and gets real views that he would have to come on and talk about it. Now he's back. Now I fixed it. Thank you.
You gave me all of these good reasons to talk about Ethan Klein more and study him and review him. And then at the end, you gave me the worst reason possible that John would come on my show. That sounds awful. That sounds ridiculous.
You call this Ethan Klein a narcissist? I'm the narcissist.
You think he's going to be able to get the time zones correctly?
the Earl of Ethan verse is what you're dubbing.
Yeah. I mean, come up with something better. That's the one on the scoreboard. If you can beat it, you beat
All right, yeah. We'll spitball that. Well, Casey Day, thank you for joining us on here and helping us understand what's been going on. This is a crazy saga that is still ongoing.
Anytime, Karl.
What's your prediction? What's going to happen next? Is Ethan Klein going to leave the internet again?
Yes, he's going to go away. He's a very, 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 very sensitive boy. He's going to go bye-bye. And he has what John doesn't have, money to burn. So he's going to go through with this up until he's reaches a critical point where people are coming at him in a way he doesn't like at all anymore. Then he's going to go on a vacation again, which he has for the last 3 years. He just popped up to shit on Hassan Piker, got all this clap back, and now he's like, oopsie, out of here.
Stepped in it again. Whoops, I'm out.
See you in 5 years.
Casey, people should check out the Unboxing Riley Martin series that you have.
Yes. Thursday at 7 p.m.
I love Riley Martin, one of my favorite characters from the Stern Show. They gave him his own show on the network, and then he kept trying to negotiate for more money.
Yep. Karl, there are 10 of the little things he made, symbols left. There's 10 left in the world that you can buy. So go to RileyMartin.com, and I'm pimping them out. I got mine. I'm getting on the ship, Karl. You got to get one to get on the ship.
I love it, buddy. Well, thank you, Casey Day, for being a part of the show today.
Thank you, Adam Busch. Thank you, producer Chris. Bye, everyone.
Later. All right, that's it.
I can add one to his list. Both John and Ethan Klein are careful to make sure their sneezes and coughs don't get on them, but they have no concern as to whether it gets onto you or anyone around them.
That is a very good point. All right. Well, coming up, we have a lot to get to. Steel Toe, that reality show, Lisa Boswell. Tom Myers came after me pretty hard. I can't wait to talk about that. It happened. I think Stalin19 clipped it, which is amazing. I don't know how he finds these things. But I sent it over to Blind Mike because they were talking about Mike too immediately on Sunday, and he wished he'd seen it before his episode because there was a lot that was going on there. Jerry Banfield has a new song. Opie was at Costco just chewing the shit with the chat. Stuttering John's last drunk stream we still have clips from to get to. But first, I want to thank you for supporting this show and participating in this show. We see that guys like Dr. Peter Venkman are gifting memberships, gifting 5 Who Are These Podcast memberships. We appreciate that quite a bit. And if you were gifted a membership, you can watch our bonus shows. I'm doing one Tuesday coming up, and you can also watch the live shows we do on Saturday afternoons. Those are available only for people behind the paywall. We also have the super tip system in place today, supertip.gg/WATP. Participate in the show like this person.
Did you know Gila Klein served in the 282nd Golan Brigade during her conscription, a unit that was involved in multiple international scandals with indiscriminate civilian casualties in Lebanon?
We have to find a solution to this problem of shitty podcasters, preferably one that's final. Use promo code COME to get 20% off your solution.
All right, that might have got too far for me, but I like that.
What a waste of money. He would have saved a lot of money if he just said final solution instead of all of those
you're right.
words in between there.
Fithian, $10 says, Ethan bought a $400 bong with his bar mitzvah money to impress the kids at school, and that is a fact. See, the lore goes deep with Ethan Klein. He's been a celebrity for a long time on the internet. We've a lot to catch up on. Hellraiser gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Hellraiser. We appreciate you. Rocco Orby, 2002, $5 says, funny he mentions cancer. Maybe he could emulate his old buddy Boogie 2988 and fake cancer too for clout. Oh, man. Don't even get me started on Boogie. Fucking lunatic. Fetheon, $5 says, Ethan buys friends, and after trying in vain to tackle politics during BLM, he hired Hassan to be his political mouthpiece. He's a grifter. Yeah, apparently that blew up in his face. That didn't work out real well in the long term. Goat Malp has been a member for 13 months. No single person in history should be on a screen less than that stunned wombat wife of his. Hila has 0 to contribute, and I follow the Dabbleverse. I didn't pull any clips with her. She's on the show quite a bit. Oh, man. She's anti-charisma. She's got nothing going on. It's crazy to me that she's a part of the show. Jay Wolfenstein, $5 says, boo Adam, boo. There's too much love for him. I must balance it with some hate. Also, unrelated, Adam, do you do birthday parties asking for a friend?
Nope.
All right. He hasn't gotten that desperate yet. He's just a co-host on WATP. So it's a few more steps down. He still has to go.
But the other day I was in an Uber.
All right. With that, I think it's time for our
Cringe of the week. Cringe of the week.
And this is one that I just happened to stumble upon. And it was our buddy Aaron Imholt. You know, we've talked about this a lot, that Aaron's constantly talking about how the show is going to get better, or it wasn't good, but now it is, or this happened after April left the show. He's like, now I can finally do what I've always wanted to do, and I can make this a good show. And then he came on later and said, oh, those shows I was doing sucked, but now it's going to be good. Well, we went ahead and did this again. And I have some thoughts on this.
And this morning I was sitting down here getting everything ready, getting everything organized. And I had to stop. I had to stop scrolling because there were more clips and more stories and more things. And I'm sitting here removing stuff that I wanted to start the show with and replacing it with this. And then we'll move this to the evening show. And I'm like, I have to just sit here for a minute. Like I'm prepping to, like, the more this show becomes like the old days, the more old days me comes back. And old days me is like not as lazy, like drama me or that kind of me, or where I follow this other stupid shit, is really lazy. Like doing that kind of show is very lazy. It doesn't.
Wow, he just mentioned that he was lazy 3 or 4 times in a row right there, which is odd because if you were like a chatter in there and said that he was lazy, you'd probably get banned from the chat for saying that. Now he's just coming out and saying,
or boxed.
Doesn't do much for you. But when you're actually putting a real talk show together, I forgot. I'm ashamed to even say this, but it's just you're constant. Once you start, you can't stop. You're like, oh, this will be great. Oh, this would be awesome. And then you curate it perfectly, and you're like, I've got it.
So this is interesting that all of a sudden, because if you remember, the last time we covered Aaron, he was inviting people to fuck with his gym, and Scott, the guy who owns the gym, he was saying, well, do your worst. You guys can't do anything to us. Bring it on. And since then, I haven't been studying it that closely, but from what I've seen, there have been a lot of reviews at the gym and a lot of things happening that I'm sure Scott doesn't appreciate. And all of a sudden, Aaron is pivoting to, I don't want to talk about drama anymore. You know, he invited us into his gym to see how hard he hits that heavy bag. and he was like, I can take on all you guys. I don't care about that. And now all of a sudden it's just like, I'm done with the drama. I'm going to just do a real show again. Be the old me and stop being lazy. And
you know who does exactly
drama.
this is Stuttering John. Remember? He invited everyone to come to Pickwick's Pub. He gave them the times and the days to be there. And then he started screaming, these people are showing up at my pub and harassing me. Why are they doing this?
Yeah, go figure that would happen. The other thing, I think the other reason why Aaron doesn't want to talk about the drama stuff anymore is he's got his trial coming up. It's right after Hackamania. It's in May. And so far, we've seen Gino and Keanu have been subpoenaed for it. They're traveling to Minnesota for this trial. Kayla's been subpoenaed. Nick Recaita's been subpoenaed. April, his ex-wife, has been subpoenaed for this too. This trial is going to be awesome. I'm planning on going to it. We're going to try to get a bunch of people there to
Wow,
report on
really?
it. Yeah, oh yeah, this is going to be so much fun to watch this go down.
Can we get another round over here, please?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it got to this. I guess the pretty antisocial girls are making the trip as well, and we're talking about Melton and Moody because Moody's going to be in the States at the time, so a bunch of us are going to go, and probably Ethan Ralph, I would imagine, will try to make it there if he can. So this whole idea that he didn't take a plea deal, and that it's actually going to trial, and there's a trial date set, and I don't know enough about this stuff, but it doesn't seem like he's going to get a better deal. It seems like the DA is ready to dig in and do this. The witnesses have been subpoenaed, like, okay, it's going to trial. Let's see what happens.
I've watched a lot of movies, and I think that's where we're headed.
There you go. If you've seen a movie or two, you probably know what's
I got to
going
tell you,
on.
I think I don't know if you're weighing in how much of an impact it's going to have on this trial if you are all there. He cares more about what those people you named, what they think, than his own future. Like, it blinds him that everyone in this Dabbleverse has to feel a certain way about him, and he'll do anything to maintain that. He would say something that would incriminate himself, but make him think he's looking cool to everyone in the room. He'll
Correct.
make that choice. He really will. So this could go really, really badly for him. And now I bet he's starting to wish that y'all are going to be there, that he never went to trial and he just took a deal to begin with.
Yes.
Because he's not going to look good.
You have to take a deal. And also, I don't have to cover this because if you watch the latest Nobody Likes Onions, he did a great job of this. But Keanu, it just keeps saying shit. She's a witness, and she doesn't realize that she's being subpoenaed by the prosecutor. She's a witness on behalf of the state of Minnesota. And she's going, oh, and I'm going to go there and I'm going to tell the truth. And then, she's friends with Aaron again for some reason. But she's talking like she's going there to have Aaron's back. And all she keeps doing is explaining in detail the exact crime that Aaron committed on her show over and over again. We're just like, she's like, what do you guys call that? Revenge porn? It's like, yeah. By the letter of the law, what he did was revenge porn. And you keep saying that he did it over and over again. Like, what are you going to argue that the law is just or not?
Right.
That's not your place in this. So it's not going to go well, is my prediction on it.
I do have one request. I was hoping, if it's all right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, because I saw that video with Aaron's coach or whatever it is, that guy.
Scott, yeah.
And I was watching a really great episode of Point Dabble Point with Ricky Melton, and I was so happy with everything he had to say. And it reminded me, there's something we should do more often. We should really reap praise and money and attention on the people surrounding these people. Like, we should be sending business to Sam. We should be supporting Ricky's gigs. Not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it would infuriate Aaron and John if all of these, while he's actively trying to get them all against us, Sam has to be like, well, they sent a gift basket to my house. It's really, how bad can they be? It starts to make people question, maybe it's just you, Aaron, because they seem like lovely people.
Yeah, that's actually a really good strategy. I like that idea a lot. And then, props to Ricky Melton. Support him. I guess he's got a Facebook page. He didn't have a website, but if you see him coming to your area, support him, because that was really cool that he came on. And he wasn't on there to trash John. He's like, I would do a show with John again. He just told us what happened, which was fascinating.
It was very fascinating. It was really great.
It was something else. All right. Speaking of fascinating.
Oh, Lisa Boswell. I'd kick your ass to hell and back. Like Lisa Boswell. Nobody can. Lisa Boswell. Yeah. You're going to have some retarded babies. Lisa Boswell. Lisa Boswell. Lisa Boswell. Shit, that way if you don't get any pussy, you can buy it.
On the last episode of that reality show with Lisa Boswell and Helga Mann, Lisa was fired up. She was in a really pissy mood. She didn't like Helga's boyfriend. She talked about how she was contemplating offing herself a couple days before that. And so I'm happy to say this is an episode from the next day. This is from September 13th, 2023. And she's calmed down. She's in a better mood. And the reason why she's in a better mood is because she's going to smoke a lot of marijuana.
So today we're going to smoke a lot of pot. If you'd like to join us, feel free. I mean, anybody can. If you're not afraid of getting arrested where you live.
So she's inviting all of us at home, all the viewers. It's a morning show, but whatever. We can wake and bake with the gals, right? Let's all start smoking some pot with them. And this is some brilliant back and forth between the two of them.
That was one of the reasons the Volstead Act was passed, which was the act that gave us prohibition.
The what? What are you talking about?
Alcohol was also illegal, and you'd end up in prison for being in possession of it.
Oh, I'd have been under the jail for that.
Yeah, me too.
Is it just me?
But I hadn't had anything to drink in 36 years in February.
This is my fourth try.
36 years.
Is she looking more and more Muppety in this episode? This looks like a Jim Henson creation.
I was just thinking that Disney is going to steal this dynamic.
Yes,
they are. This
it's
is
fantastic.
two sloths or toadstools, just their voices, the pauses, the way they relate to each other with this like low-key hostility that's full of love, but they could just strangle each other to death violently at any second. Like you feel it percolating in there.
February.
This is my fourth try.
36 years in February. And I think that's to be commended.
I agree, Lisa. Congratulations on your sobriety and beating alcohol.
I noticed Helga was very quiet about that.
Yeah, Helga wasn't as excited. Now, one of the things I love, Helga tells stories about her past all the time, and I find it annoying and braggadocious. But when Lisa tells stories about her past, I am all in, and this is a great one.
I used to tell my mama. She goes, "You're an alcoholic. You don't need that." Talk about marijuana. And I said, I'm an alcoholic and I need it. I need it. And I'm going to use it.
I use it because it keeps my depression, PTSD under control. I wake up.
So I made my mother smoke pot with me. I made my mother smoke pot with me. Yes.
My little
Your
brother,
mom.
My little brother. My parents.
How does Helga not recognize that this is gold happening next to her, and she just wants to keep talking about herself?
Maybe I'm giving this way too much credit.
Mm-hmm.
Helga is starting to like break like on SNL, you know?
Yeah, she's
like,
trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It just takes the wigs and the glasses off and just starts laughing. And maybe,
Lord's not going to like this.
Wasn't it the last episode we watched where they were like, I ripped out her eyes and pissed in her skull?
Yes.
Like, I think the amount of crazy things that they're hearing all the time, they're just tuned out. They don't even know what's real and what's not.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that Helga is deathly afraid of Lisa because of her
It's one or the other.
violent past. Yes.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
So Helga starts talking about all this depressing shit, and Lisa puts her foot down.
Wait a second. That's depressing, Helga. Cut it out.
That's the demon that my dad was nursing.
So Helga was talking about her alcoholic father and all this stuff. And remember, the last episode, Lisa was the bummer. So Lisa's like, no. This episode, we're going to be up. We're going to have a good time. Helga starts dragging him down. She's like, no. We're not doing that.
Yeah, see, a military.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm really sorry about this.
The only story that my uncle ever told
really
about
sorry.
World War II was how depressing it was to stand on the deck of the troop ship and watching his guys get blown to pieces on the beach. He was General McAuliffe's executive officer, 1st Brigade, 4th Armored Division.
That's not funny.
I'm just saying.
I'm just going to tell you that I'm warning Helga ahead of time. That's not funny.
No, but I'm talking about PTSD.
I love that. Lisa's been reminding Helga to be more fun. And then Helga just keeps talking about this awful, depressing shit. And finally, Lisa's like, shut the fuck up.
I love how Lisa smiles through that whole story.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's not funny.
You've
I mean,
never seen
really.
someone deliver that line with that face before. It's never been done.
They're getting high.
Yeah.
They're smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
Who tells stories like that when they're high? That's like something
she's a downer.
Muscatel would bring on or something like
Right.
that. You know?
Yeah, right. Helga is such a downer on this stuff.
I also didn't know that this was a comedy show. That's new.
I always thought it was a comedy show. I don't know if they do that.
I didn't know they knew.
You're right.
Like, we have an obligation to be funny here. Can we please lighten this up? I had no idea they were aware.
It's almost a Muppet show.
You guys ready for a prison story from Lisa?
Great.
I was in prison.
Hmm.
They wouldn't let me go home. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's how prison works.
Yep. And didn't you just ask us to lighten the mood?
Can you believe that? It's pretty good stuff. All right, so Lisa starts telling a story about her ex-wife. This comes out of nowhere.
Have you ever heard of this? I was married to a woman who never talked to me again. We have 2 children together. She never talked to me again.
After you got arrested?
Not at all.
Before you got arrested?
Anytime.
It's like, I think Helga's asking, like, was there a reason why your ex stopped talking to you? Nope, no explanation, just out of nowhere. My ex never talks to me. Okay, good to know.
So this was like a Valentine's Day episode.
Yes, it's very romantic. Now, I love Lisa here doing an impression. She doesn't do impressions often. When she does, I'm all in.
Listen to this. When I was in prison, we had a pack of German shepherds that
Can anyone do a better impression of a pack of German shepherds than
No.
that? All right, I'm not even going to try it.
And you're German.
That was pretty amazing.
It's like the German shepherds are in the room with us.
I'm gonna back it up, and I want to hear that again.
a pack of German shepherds that
So she's talking about in prison there were German shepherds. She doesn't like dogs anymore, and of course they live with a couple dogs. They live with a bunch of mice and cockroaches, and there's a dog and a cat somewhere as well.
It's a family.
Yeah. This is kind of a fun thing where Lisa's looking at the monitor because they're looking at themselves the whole show. And Lisa's got a comment for Helga.
when I had prison, I went to prison. I went for 11 years. I was supposed to be in the prison for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were arrested in the wrong county by the wrong cops.
Yeah. Close your legs.
Nothing to see there.
And your mouth. I could listen to Lisa tell Helga to close her legs on a loop all day.
All right, I'll make that happen.
I would never
for you.
stop smiling. I just love that. Close your legs. So I was in prison for a lifetime. All right. So then Lisa starts a story. And as Helga likes to do, Helga needs to one-up Lisa.
That's why when I had my first stroke, I had a stroke in 2014. I was homeless. I didn't have anywhere to live. I had a stroke.
I was homeless paying off a $250,000 bankruptcy.
Right. Okay. I was homeless, but also in debt by a lot of money. You were just homeless with no money. Fine. Did you have a stroke? You're right. Yeah, that was my comeback on that. I got a call from Eric Zane this morning. Whenever I get a phone call from Eric Zane in the morning, I know that I'm on his show. So he calls me up. I see his name. He goes, Karl, you're on the show. I know. And he wanted to talk to me because I didn't appreciate what they had to say about Paul McCartney on Who Are These Broadcasters this week. I was very excited to see Paul McCartney perform the side B pretty much of Abbey Road, my favorite side of any album ever. And he wasn't great. His vocals weren't great, but it was so exciting to see him do that. His band's awesome. And so Eric called me up to call me out on that. And the reason why I bring that up is because the Beatles are just infectious.
All I want to do is write paperbacks and movie scripts.
I'm not going to sing that song. Paperback writer. Paperback writer.
She couldn't stop herself. She was, I'm not going to sing that. And immediately went into it. Yeah, that's a performer, though. That's what Lisa is. You can't stop her. You just got to sit back and enjoy. So I mentioned that Lisa was in a foul mood the day before this on the 12th of September. She's in a much better mood now.
You know, I could tell you a million stories about why I'm happy I'm living here. But a couple of days ago, I kind of got down on myself. And
you have to be able to find your joy every day.
That's good. I'm glad that Lisa's understanding. She was just going through a rough patch. She's happy to have a roof over her head. She was homeless before Helga brought her in. That's the other dynamic here that really is incredible. Helga is a very giving person, a very nurturing person, brings Lisa all the way up from Tennessee to live in Connecticut with her so that she has a roof over her head, even though she doesn't like the roommates or the animal situation. But fortunately, they're lightening things up in this episode, and we have some more jokes being told. This is a comedy show.
like our show. Like our show.
And it's also a great deal of fun to put the thing on closed captions and see the difference between what we are saying and what the artificial intelligence unit at YouTube thinks we're saying.
It's also a great thing to put it on clothes and pretend that we don't have any clothes on. That would be cool.
If we did without any clothes on, YouTube would shut us down instantly. Nobody wants to look at my nasty body.
You're right.
Perfect comedic timing, as always. But Lisa's going for it. She's trying to feel it out. Like, all right, what's the joke here on the closed caption? Close. I don't know. Something. Remember, Lisa's always telling you to like their show.
Again, we like to remind you to like our show. Like the show. Helga, what do I tell you every day? Like the show.
Now, like it when you find it on Facebook, too.
Like the show.
And I have a page. I have a page on Facebook for that reality show.
Please let me say this.
Why don't you
Don't confuse everybody.
Follow our
please.
page. Follow our page on Facebook. That way you get the really early stuff that we did live.
Every time I hope that I could say something without you interrupting me, I find out that that's not true. You're just going to confuse people. Like the show and subscribe.
Yeah.
Lisa's actually a pretty smart social media marketer here, where she's going, guys, it's simple. Like the show. You're watching it right now, hit the like button. And Helga's going, and you can also find my Facebook page, and we have some other episodes. It's like, you're confusing everyone. It's a simple message I'm trying to get across here. Just like the show. So they say something. This is my last clip here. They say something that's fucking crazy. I don't know if they actually believe this or not.
YouTube can get arrested for that, for as much money as we're getting paid.
Yeah, it's illegal labor. Yeah. Yeah, we're providing content for YouTube for free.
YouTube could get arrested because they don't pay these two to be on the platform. Adam, do you think that's true?
Yeah, especially since YouTube came and begged them to work for them. To not be paying them is very exploitive.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that, obviously hosting all of these videos with no fees whatsoever, which is extremely expensive to do, and bandwidth for watching the videos and stuff, YouTube definitely owes them something.
They got to pay for sets and, all of that.
Right. Adam, do you want to pull a blind down or something? I feel bad for you.
Why? What's up? I don't understand. Is there anything, going on?
You look like you live in an area where the sun's out, which I'm confused by, but
There's a
I guess
lot
it
of
makes
moving
sense.
parts here where I live. The sun is only one of them. But I will, if you'll excuse me for 1 second, I will step out of this golden light.
Sounds good. All right. I was squinting on his behalf there.
I know.
It was getting very bright over in our West Coast studios of WATP. Well, let me take a moment to thank the people who are thanking us with their fine contributions to the show. We appreciate the support. Of course, you can super chat us. You can gift memberships to the show or become a member yourself. Sign up for it. And we also have the Super Tip system, which is supertip.gg/WATP. Go on there and send us in something like this.
I'm coming out of the closet finally. I'm in love with Woke Dad and his black minions. Karl stopped sending my deck pics. Also, the knicker stole my shoes and glasses.
That is something the Cardiff would say. That's the beauty of this system, is that people will hear that and go, yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard Cardiff say that.
More wins for the toe. I will take on Five Guys.
I've had Five Guys myself at the same time, and I'm not talking about the delicious burgers.
A Moody in our group chat today had a funny quote as we were talking about people getting subpoenaed. He's like, another witness for the toe.
Nice.
Yeah, not what he wants.
Lisa Boswell is one pretty lady. I think I'd like to remove her long, flaccid penis tucked away in her crack and give it a lil suck. I want her to smile.
Whoa, Tookie, you take Lisa and let me try out Helga's ass. I'll part the burly, wiry ass hairs and give her toot a lil kiss so she gets all wet and hard. Tookie, let's get nasty.
Ugh, I don't like what Tukey and I are up to.
Carl, what is up with you?
I've been on a lot of drugs lately. I'm mixing a lot of things together. I don't know. Tube Sock, $3 says, these two crack me up. Lisa is my favorite. I know. I'm so glad I found their Vimeo account with a lot of their episodes because their YouTube channel was nuked. And we were without that reality show for a minute there. But they're back. I'm excited about it. They make me laugh. They're fantastic. You know what else is fantastic is Hamilton Burger. $2 says, Karl won't go to Minnesota. He didn't even drive to Gary. I'm not going to drive to Minnesota. I assume there's airports in that state, right? It's probably an airport or two.
There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, right. Who would know? I'm sure there's a way to get there. AO 1012, $5. Muty is a narc. His constant harping on safe sport violations is the antithesis of observe and report. There's no trusting someone like that. Yeah, I don't like to get into the fucking with people's lives and stuff. Aaron does invite it in a certain way that's different than other people, but I also don't agree with where they go with these things. Jay Wolfenstein says, Adam, what about bar mitzvahs? Do you do bar mitzvahs? What about weddings? How about elementary school graduations? Come on. It's not the Morse verse. I'll come back to that when Adam comes back. We'll see if we can negotiate a deal. Joe Dicker with $5 Canadian says, Helga and Lisa look like characters that got left off the final cut of Twin Peaks. I could see that. Yeah. Ben S. says, love the joy Karl has during Lisa and Helga clips. It's my favorite. It really brings me so much joy. Just Lisa. What a talent. What a find that was by Principled Uncertainty for bringing that to us. I thought I was just going to close a blind. I didn't realize he was also dropping a deuce while we were doing this. Hey, what's
guys.
up, Adam?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can, buddy. Welcome back to the show. Everything good?
Outstanding. Yeah, it's a little better. It's a little
lot
better. Okay, good.
It's a lot better. Jay Wolfenstein had a question for you.
What's up?
So
do you do bar mitzvahs? Do you do bar mitzvahs? What about weddings? How about elementary schools? Come on, it's not the Morse. Yeah, I mean, look, if it's not the Morse first, then that's fine. I'm in.
Okay.
But
so Adam, you can hire him for an event. Just
I don't know
depends on
what it
type
is
of
you would
event.
want me to do. I can express mild disinterest in whatever's going on.
Yeah, that's my job.
Sold. Sounds good to me. Okay, we got to talk about fucking Tom Myers, this piece of shit.
You know, it's no different than, a police officer running to the scene of a crime or a firefighter running into a burning building. It's what I do.
Not too long ago, we reviewed a show called Coffee with the Dog, starring Mind Dog. And Mind Dog had a cast of characters with him. There was a guy called Sitcom who was in a wheelchair. There was G.D. Fenderson, very unfunny comic that Blind Mike has featured many times on his show. He also had Jackie Martling on the show when we were watching. So we took note of that. Well, on a recent episode, he gets Tom Myers on the show. And we were just watching a clip from Stalin 19. I think this is also Stalin 19 that found this for us, because Tom Myers is going to talk. They're asking him about me and Blind Mike reviewing his show.
I said he was trashed like us by those other podcasts.
By the other podcast. Now, is it the same one that trashed us? Do you know? Is that same?
The Blind Mike Project trashed both of us, and I think Karl Hamburger. What is that? Is that podcast? I think it's called.
Who are these garbage podcasts?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, do you know? Did you know about this, or did you find out by like a fan who had listened? How did you find out?
Of course, I got sources. I got moles. I got people everywhere.
So, when you hear Tom talk right there, you know, how did you find out they were talking about you? Did you stumble upon it and someone let you know? And Tom goes, I have sources, I have moles, I have people out there. That is very Chad Zumach. That's exactly the way that Chad talks. Listen to this again. Tom's been watching a lot of the Chad Zumach program.
So did you find out by like a fan who had listened? How did you find out?
Of course. I got sources. I got moles. I got people everywhere.
You could picture Chad saying those exact words.
Yeah.
So he's very much influenced by this. And this is going to be a theme that we're going to see throughout this appearance, because Tom starts talking about how much we suck. And these are all the talking points you have to have when you talk about why WTP sucks.
I'm cool with them. Who are these podcasts is basically just like an Opie and Anthony ripoff. And Opie and Anthony is basically just like a low-grade version of the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like a ripoff of a low-grade version of like, probably one of the greatest like radio shows of all time, like one of the greatest morning show hosts of all time. So it's like they're completely like unoriginal, and like they stole the concept of Jocktober from Opie and Anthony. It's basically like Anthony Cumia with just like a fraction of like racism and just having like women on to only speak when they want them to speak, basically.
Wow, he's got us all figured out right there. So Tom opens his mouth and proves he has no idea what he's talking about immediately.
Very much so.
Which is always fun. Yeah, you know, they're doing this thing that Opie and Anthony did, and Opie and Anthony was just this low-grade Howard Stern show. You have no idea what you're talking about when you say that. This is something you've heard from other people, mainly Howard Stern. Because
your sources suck, Tom.
Yeah, right. Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern are completely different shows. They were both morning shows that did comedy, but completely different. I listen to both of them every morning or every day, and I can tell you all the differences. But Tom's got it all figured out. Oh, Opie and Anthony was a shitty show. Wrong. That no one listened to because it was just trying to be Howard Stern. Completely wrong. They made millions and millions of dollars. They had a huge audience. And the Jocktober segment was awesome. And yes, we do use that segment to give us our format for this show. And so he wants to know, who are these podcasts find Tom Myers? And Tom is lying. He's not being honest about this.
How did they find you?
No, I mean, it's when you've been doing this as long as me, like you tend to get your share of haters and trolls, and 90% of them are garbage, and then you have the 10%, which are the podcasts that go after you, and then which are just outright shit. So it's basically like word of mouth. Hey, here it's about there's this guy, and we'll just go ahead and trash him for a little bit, and and then they're fans, but basically like basement dwellers who, like, if they see you live, they'd never come out, they'd never do anything anyway. They just stay behind a keyboard.
All right, well, let me address the last part first. Okay. Let's not forget Havre de Grace, where Blind Mike and friends traveled 8 hours to go see Tom Myers perform stand-up comedy. So these are not basement dwellers that we're talking about who are into this sort of thing. But the fact that he goes, so how did you get on the radar of WATP? And Tom goes, well, when you've been at it as long as I have, Tom, you're a nobody. Nobody would know who you are. Let's be honest about it. It's because of Cumtown. It's because of Stavros and Nick Mullen. It's the reason why anyone knows who you are. That's how we found out about you, is through Cumtown. Everyone knows that. Don't act like that's not the reality of your entire world, your entire existence. No one would know you.
And that is a much more interesting story than the one he told. He should be, that invites questions and opinions, and it shows a bit of your personality. What we just saw is real deep-seated bitterness that can only come from being in the entertainment industry for so long, because what he just described was a David Lynch Mulholland Drive kind of conspiracy theory that has kept him from getting the recognition that he deserves. See, one person starts and then everyone just falls in line and they all decide to do this thing for no reason that I am not helping contribute to at all. It's just forces greater than me that are tearing me apart and trashing me.
Yeah. And it's a similarity to Opie, who we just played a clip of recently, saying that the only reason why people are trolling him, he's telling his AI co-host, the only reason why people are trolling him is because Anthony Cumia tells them to do it. We're going to watch a clip from Chad Zumock momentarily. That's the exact same thing as that. All of these assholes think like, well, it's nothing I'm doing. These people are getting orders from other people to do this thing and come after me.
And they all suck at what they do, and they all flex for how long they've been doing it.
Yes!
Same with Stuttering John, Tom Myers, Chad Zumock, Opie, Ethan Klein.
I know. Why
Ethan
is that
Klein
a thing?
syndrome.
That is funny that you say that. But you're right, Adam, to the idea that if he came out and he said, well, I started getting people's radar when this podcast Cumtown came after me, and he could talk about what Nick and Stavros have gone on to do, and even the other guy to some degree, Adam Friedland, but he could be talking about how, isn't it crazy? There's just this like podcasters. I knew the guy in Baltimore. He was like another comic. And they started talking about me, and this thing blew up, and it's this huge phenomenon. I mean, I think the most viewed episode ever of Why You Laughing, Blind Mike's show about the history of comedy, is the history of Cumtown. That show went away, and there's all these people who are still interested in it and still talking about it. And that's why anyone knows who Tom Myers is. And he has to make believe, like, I've just been on the radar of everyone. I've been around for so long doing this show.
Instead of leaning into it and having fun with it and saying, yeah, who are these podcasts? They don't know what they're talking about. They're jerks,
And,
you know?
and no one listens to Tom's podcast. It's so sad. We're the only ones who are listening to his podcast. But, you know, the question always comes up about, well, what do you think about WATP and their show? Do they do a good job? And so Tom only knows what we do by watching the shows that don't like us talk about us.
Did you listen to the Who Are These Podcasts? Did you listen to their critique of you?
Not really, because they're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. They're pretty much documented liars. That host is as well. I listen regularly to Chad Zumock. He does a show called Cumia's Cucks.
Right.
And it airs on his channel. So he goes after like Gino Bisconti, Chrissy Mayer, WATP, all those guys. He's keeping like a running tally of various like lies that he's told.
So this is great because it really does sum up who Tom Myers is. The guy asked a great question. Good job, Mind Dog. He asks, all right, well, what do you think about their analysis of you? Is it accurate? Do they make any good points? What's their critique like? Oh, no, I watched this guy, Chad, who hates them, and he says they're liars, and they don't know what they're talking about. That's a terrible answer. That's like if I asked you, like, what do you think about Trump's foreign policy? And you go, well, Rachel Maddow said. No, I asked you what you think about it. You're going to tell me this is why he's so bad at politics and political thoughts, because he gets his answers from someone else who's telling me what he wants to hear.
And even before that, the first thing he said was, they're like, do you read the criticism? And he said, not really.
Not really.
That's not an answer. That's...
Nope.
What does that even mean?
Well,
you do or you don't?
I think what that means is I watch it through a filter that tells me that it sucks. Right?
So you're still watching it. You're
So
still
he'll
watching
watch clips of me and he'll watch Chad respond to it. And you just heard him say that I'm a documented liar. We'll address that in a second. But first, I want to talk about Mind Dog went back and watched our review of his show, and he has some thoughts about it.
And like he came up with like a couple dozen. Chad Zumach did.
Oh, he's talking about how he was watching Chad watch our show on Kumia's Cucks, and Chad was writing down all the lies I was telling as I was writing, I was telling them or whatever. And so this is where he's going, oh, yeah, he's a known liar. He wrote down all these lies.
And like he came up with like a couple dozen, Chad Zumach did, in lies that WATP is told.
Wow.
In like 2 5-minute clips, basically. So in the
I
span
would
of 2
say-
days. Yeah.
I listened to their critique of this show. Now, there were a couple. I thought what they said about me was spot on. They said I was, a wannabe radio host, and this is absolutely true. But all the critique they said about me, I think, was fair and right.
I don't want to be on radio. Radio's pretty much shit now.
Not the point.
Yeah, Tom. Nice try, buddy.
Not the point that he's making right there. Mind Dog goes on to say, like, he used to have a job in radio and he got fired. They won't have him back, and so he's playing radio, which is all the things that we said we were watching this. I'm like, well, this guy's trying to be like a radio guy, whatever. Anyway,
And he's insulting Mind Dog, by the way.
yeah, right. And I just love the fact that Mind Dog's like, well, I watched their stuff and it was pretty accurate. And Tom's just going, oh, I don't know. Chad said they lie all the time. So I have an example of this because you can't find Kumia's Cucks. Chad puts everything behind a paywall. But he did leave one episode up that I found on his channel. This was the first time he started documenting my lies. And so he was playing a clip of you and me, Adam, where I showed the tweet that he put out where he's just like, oh, Karl's going after me. He's going down or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, whatever the thing was. And we were joking about how this was episode 221 of Kumia's Cucks, and we've never reviewed it. And it's always about me, and I've never responded, and I finally respond, and Chad gets all worked up about it. Like, that was the whole discussion that we had. It's like, isn't it funny that he's been trying to get me to say something about it for all this time? I finally do, and then he acts like, what the fuck is going on here? So Chad plays that clip of our show and completely changes what was being said.
Things. I'm just pointing out things. You gotta curate this stuff.
He did it first, and he is retaliating. What the fuck? Where did this come from? Out of nowhere.
It's ridiculous. It doesn't make...
It makes perfect sense. Adam doesn't know. He doesn't know Karl covered me for a year and a half relentlessly. So you're off the hook. You don't know. And Karl's playing dumb. Karl's lying again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to write that down for another Karl lie. He said he wasn't covered. This is the first time. I could say miscommunication, but I'm just going to say another Karl lie.
So, okay, obviously what I said was the first time we covered Kumia's Cucks, which is the show that Chad does about me and Iraq and Chrissy and whoever. And so that was completely factual, but this is what Chad does on his show, is he finds just a dumb thing or changes what I said and then calls it a lie and writes it down.
Karl never covered me. I drew first blood.
By the way, producer Chris said first blood. That's a joke going back to Stuttering John, but all right, yeah, all lies that you're writing down here, Chad. You're nailing us.
Where's this list going? The FBI?
It's going into fucking Tom's head so that Tom can go on there and repeat this to Mind Dog.
Actually, Chrissy, who told Karl.
Oh, okay, so this is crazy. So after Chad says that he caught me in a lie, he makes up this fan fiction. I'm going to play this and explain this.
And it was actually Chrissy who told Karl, Chrissy and Frank, to tell Karl they need to pile on along with Anthony. This is how it all got started. We got to put this together, guys.
Okay. I can say this, and Chad's been saying this for a long time. I'll hopefully put an end to it once and for all. I've never, ever had a conversation with Chrissy Mayer or her husband Frank about going after Chad or reviewing Chad's show or anything about that. Anthony has never communicated this to me. No one has ever told me, you know what you should do is you should clown Chad. We don't like him. Can you help us out and clown him? And in Chad's world, this is what's happening, is what we were just talking about. These guys can't fathom that they're just bad at this and easily mockable. And people want to clown them because it's fun. So they go, well, what's going on here? I was making fun of Chrissy, and now Karl's making fun of me. Chrissy must have told Karl to make fun of me. And he repeats it over and over again. This is what, I mean, I'm not even going to call it a lie because Chad just created this out of nowhere and just, is speculating this is what happened. And it's fine. You can speculate. I speculate on things all the time. It's fun. That's what we do here.
Right.
It's part of analysis, obviously. But it's just funny to me that Tom goes on and goes, I mean, they're documented liars. It's so obvious. And this is an example of what he does. He changes what I said and then calls it a lie. And this was my favorite part of this episode because Tom's been watching a lot of Chad. And so Tom goes into an impression of me that's actually an impression of Chad doing an impression of me.
They always pick the worst representation of something, and then they run with it because it fits their narrative. Like they'll go ahead and pick like a stand-up clip of me. Like even if there's laughter in it, they're just like, oh my God, nobody laughs. Nobody laughs at all in that clip. Oh my God, Tom Meyer's an idiot. He's not funny. Oh my God. And then they have these people on who just like agree with them. And like, there's absolutely no pushback. There's no like thoughtful discussion at all.
Tom's a hack, not just as a comedian, but just as a person. He just used a Kevin Brennan talking point. Everyone agrees with him. There's no pushing back. Everyone's just agreeing with him. Meet Adam Busch. So he says that, but also that impression is just a blatant ripoff of Chad's impression of me, which is not a good impression. Now, I realize that's me saying that. No one thinks that anyone does a good version of themselves. I've heard other people say that as well. It's not a great impression.
No, I think, Karl, I think you're being I think you're being a little sensitive. If it sounds like he's
you got to agree with me, Adam.
If it sounds like he's being homophobic in that impression, I think it's because you sound like that.
Okay,
it's not his fault. You sound like that. What is he supposed to do?
But again, this is why when I listen to Tom's political show, I go, oh, this guy doesn't know anything that he's talking about because he only listens to what he wants to hear and then repeats that, doesn't look into it any further than that. What do you know about WTP? Well, I know that Chad says they lie and Kevin says that there's no pushback from the co-host and everyone has to agree with Karl. And then poor sitcom up here, the guy in the wheelchair, he talks about watching our review of their show and he's got a sad sack story about it as well.
They only showed the one clip of me that wasn't in the wheelchair. They picked the shittiest joke. I got picked by some financial guy who was doing this contest with comedians who could come up with the funniest joke with finance headlines. It was a really shitty gig. I won $50 from it. It was a shitty joke, and that's the only video they played. And they just based everything on that. And I'm just like, you guys really dug for that, didn't you? Because that's like, if you look at all of my social media, it's the farthest thing down on all of the lists.
I think that's really funny that he thinks that I put a lot of time into finding his shittiest joke to make him look foolish. I don't have that kind of time. You're the fifth mic on a show where we're reviewing 5 different podcasts in an episode. You think I'm going through and trying to find one joke that will embarrass you? But I appreciate it, though. I appreciate you think that we're doing that. Not how I run this show at all. In fact, Tom is going to explain to us how I run this show. This is groundbreaking.
Like everything they do is, from what I understand, I could be wrong about this. Like everything they do is rehearsed. Like they give people the clips to review ahead of time, and then like they come up with their own jokes for them. So they make it sound like it's all spur of the moment, but like really, I wouldn't be surprised if they said, "Okay, guys, here's what you say right here. This is how you do this, and this is we come in and all this." Like basically, all of the stuff that they accuse me of doing, they do. Like not being funny. That's pretty much it.
Have you ever heard that one before? We rehearse. We write down a script for everyone. Everyone sees the clips ahead of time. We rehearse the show, and then we go and do it. That's the biggest compliment. He went from saying that we suck, we don't know what we're doing, we're liars, to saying we're the most professional show he's ever heard in his life. It's a rehearsed show where everyone knows what they're going to say. We all agree upon it ahead of time.
It's wildly inaccurate, but it is complimentary.
It is. It's not even close to true. I mean, you've heard Trucker Andy on here just going, yeah, I wish Karl would tell me what we're doing. It'd be really nice to know what the fuck we're talking about.
I have never been accused of doing prep.
I just thought that was interesting. I think that that's Tom's version of things, showing once again he's fucking retarded.
But he had to double back and make sure that it ends, negative, because he was being, again, too complimentary there.
Yeah, that's crazy, Karl and Chris. And I sure have been enjoying Blue Chew lately.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, Adam. Blue Chew is what gets my pants tight.
I should try some today using promo code Clubfoot.
We don't have a promo code for Blue Chew. Yes. Don't try Clubfoot. Quick note, Adam, when you're reading the script, don't actually hold it up where the camera can see it.
Sorry.
We've talked about this.
I know.
During the dress rehearsal, we talked about this.
You don't actually have to chew it either.
It is satisfying, though. I love seeing stuff like that when somebody deeply believes in a conspiracy, and I happen to luckily know firsthand what the truth is. So it's always a rare moment, when I get to see, oh, wow, he really believes it, and none of that is true. None of it's true. I didn't know. I usually find out what we're covering when I get the episode announcement like everyone else, and then I read it and I see what the topic is. Sometimes it's really all of that is not true, and if I were to show him that and prove it to him, it would not change his opinion in any way.
I could do a better job of that, by the way. I could communicate better. I probably should.
Oh, no, I wasn't being passive aggressive.
No, I know you weren't. I know you weren't.
When I mean it.
I know you weren't. I appreciate that. I also appreciate all the people who are supporting the show. And, over 1,000 people watching the show right now. Thank you very much for being here. And you can support the show with memberships, gifted memberships, super chats, but of course, the super tip system, supertip.gg/WATP to be a part of the show.
Who the hell is this Ethan Klein? Fuck. Do you really think he could replace me? The Duke of the Dabbleverse. Also, would you happen to have Lisa's number? Appear back right there.
Wow, I like that AI went for it right there. Really tried to sing that one. That's impressive. Ben S. says, Tom has the hairstyle of RoboCop without the helmet. Jay Wolfenstein, $5. Karl, Tom's right. You are basically Kumia with a fraction of the racism. You need to up your racism game. Pretty sure that's what he meant. Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I didn't even talk about that. The critique was he didn't know what to say. It's like, they're basically like Anthony Cumia, but like, they're not more racist. Shit, that's right. I would have gotten. Can't say that.
I love when people do that. They try so hard to hate something without really knowing it, so they end up complimenting it in a way. Yes. That, if it's supposed to be a diss, look, if it said outside the comedy club, just like Anthony Cumia, but with 10% less racism, I might go in. Like, that's not going to deter me from going. It might encourage me.
Just a fraction of the racism. Good. That's the part I didn't like about that. All right, cool. Rocco Orb, 2002, $5 says, normally I don't condone snitching, but someone should let Opie know about Tom Myers talking shit about O&A. That was interesting. He really did take some shots at Opie and Anthony, and not because he knows anything about that, just because he was mad at me. Jay Wolfenstein, Adam, good to see you survived the nuke. Is that what was outside his window?
It was. I partly survived.
Karl, I bet you miss SJ's Just Do It impression. Yeah, that is the best impression of me by far. And Jay Wolfenstein again, I'm just here for Silent Mike. Wait, this is WATP? I mean, I'm just here for OJ. Wait, Producer Chris? Yeah, I'm just here for Producer Chris. This is WATP that you're watching. And you know it is because we got to talk about Opie.
Bah, 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 bah.
I actually caught this on Tukey Soup last night.
Me too.
Was playing a couple clips of Opie outside of the Costco in his car. And I think I have an epiphany. I'm calling my shot. But before we do that, let's start off with Opie explaining why he's doing this live broadcast, which is still up on his channel now.
I am bored. 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 I am sitting in the parking lot. I am bored, bored, bored.
Opie,
What's going
Opie,
on, man?
if you don't
How
stop
is
singing, if
everybody?
you don't
I'm in
stop
a
singing, we're
car.
not going to Disneyland and we're not going to McDonald's. So you be quiet back there, put on your seatbelt, and stop singing.
Whoever's singing back there better stop her. I'm turning this thing around.
Are in a parking lot outside Costco. I'm getting food out of my teeth, and I figured I would.
As Croge always says, you're not bored, you're boring.
Yeah.
And it really is true. I promise you, I'm never bored. I always have things that I should be doing and can be doing and want to be doing, and I just can't get to them. Opie is sitting there going, well, what else do I have to do? I guess I'll just pop on the stream and talk to whoever shows up. And he's outside in the Costco parking lot, and this was very telling to me.
I'm in the Costco parking lot. The wife and the kids are inside buying like just giant things before we head back to the good old city.
So his family is inside Costco shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in his car doing this impromptu live stream. And it finally dawned on me, something that I never realized, and I probably should have. Maybe you guys are way ahead of me on this. This is an addiction. This is a guy who has to run off into the bathroom and smoke a cigarette. He's an addict. And I always wondered, like, why does he keep doing this? He's not making any money. He's embarrassing himself, going to get cards, doing all these shows from his house every morning at sunrise. He's addicted to it. He needs it.
Okay.
Like, why is he walking away from his family to be doing this in this
I
car?
think they want him away from him. He detects it, and he's like, well, I got important stuff to do anyway, so I'll be in the car.
See, we speculate on that, obviously. We don't know that.
No, I don't want to know it.
It could, I mean, I'm going to throw out a whole new theory on this. It could be like, oh, Greg, just shop with the kids and me. Okay, fine, go do your thing. We'll get done with it and be out. Because this is a family activity that they're doing right now. And they live in Manhattan, so getting out to Costco is a big deal.
Agreed.
Like, hey, we drove out to Costco. We get to spend time in a big building with all this space. This is unlike anything else we do in our time. And Opie's like, all right, well, I'll be in the car.
And all of his instincts are always so wrong. It's just incredible. Like, if anything has been proven recently, it's that filming you with your kids in Costco could get some views. The only thing that's been proven not to is you alone in the car.
Yes.
That doesn't work. And I think you're right, Karl. I think there's an addiction there, and I think part of that addiction, and it's something he shares with Aaron too, is they know it's not working, what they're doing, but they will not reflect, they won't look inside, they won't change anything they're doing ever, but they desperately want this thing to change. So what they become addicted to is like this Vegas-style gambling of what's the right time, where's the right place, all those things he can change that don't involve himself at all these exterior, what's the location, is it short streams, is it long streams, is it far away, or is it intimate? Like that he'll fuck with forever, thinking, oh, but if I don't do it right now, I might miss that one golden super chat that changes this whole thing. And he's constantly obsessed with it, gaming for it, thinking about it like a gambling addict, and not present with his family. So they're like, yeah, just go in the car and play your little online gambling. We used to give that to Grandma. She used to love the little poker thing, and she'd sit there and amuse herself, and it kept her sharp, and that's what he's doing, except it's making him dumber. He'd be better off playing poker games.
Well, that's some foreshadowing, because he's actually going to talk about that, precisely what you're saying, like trying new things, seeing what works, and just continuing this cycle. So we're going to get to that in a second. But you just reminded me of something, talking about addiction. This is like chasing the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a thing where he was the host of this huge radio show with celebrity guests every day and callers and making millions of dollars. And we all go, why is he still doing this? It's like talking to the cokehead who's just like, you don't get high anymore. Why are you still doing coke? It's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
What are we doing? It's just like, well, this is what I do. It'll get better. It'll continue to get better at some point.
Recovering addicts call it the geographical cure, that you keep trying to change things, never saying I could be the problem.
Right.
So you're always moving to another town, getting another apartment, new girlfriend. Something's always changing except for you.
Yeah, when I'm working in radio and podcasting, I am concerned with my voice to some degree, and I am aware of it and trying to just, speak in a way that people find pleasant. It never once occurred to him to maybe try another voice, maybe try a more natural speaking voice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the screeching at us like we're like animal children that is drawing people away. Maybe it's the angle. Maybe it's this, all the things that you can control about yourself. Try a new show, because Unleashed is just a title. You're still the same button-up, tightly wound, incapable of change person. The only thing that's unleashed is the title.
All right. Opie gets a chat on here, and it sounds like he's actually learned something, and I think I know why.
Opster, you're living well for yourself. No matter what anyone says, you're a huge success. Well, thank you, Byron. I just simply don't give a crap what people say about me. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't even know if half this stuff that you guys bring up is even true, so who cares?
Okay. This is a departure from everything Opie's been doing for the last year. We've been documenting him. Where someone comes in there and they just go, Anthony was talking shit about you. What? What is wrong with him? I did nothing but favors for that guy. I created him, and he did nothing but backstab me. And all it takes is just that one little comment, and he'll go. It's a free comment. He'll go off on a person, and now all of a sudden, it's just like, who cares? What are you gonna do? And I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if some guy just putting something in my chat is true. Well, I think I know why all of a sudden Opie has realized that, because Anthony went on his show this past week and said this.
Now, Opie loses his mind. It's the funniest thing. He loses his mind when he looks into his chat, which he does constantly during his, what he would like to call a show. And then somebody will say something like, did you hear Anthony was shitting on you with his friends or something? And they're lying. They just, I might have mentioned his show or his name came up when I was talking about O&A, and the trolls know it. Like, he gets like 30 views during his live streams. He gets 30 people that watch live. And out of that, I have to assume that maybe 5, and that I'm really giving him the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe 5 of those people are actual fans. I would assume the other 25 are hate watching, are trolls building up a rapport so they could pull the trigger at some point, or they're sarcastically trying to annoy him about me. Some of them just pop right in and go, Anthony was shit talking you. And then without any checking or anything, he just goes, he's soulless, that prick, and then just starts shitting all over me.
Isn't that interesting? Anthony comes out and says this, and all of a sudden Opie goes, I don't know what you're saying is even true. I don't care. I'm not going to address it. Did Opie see this and finally realize what an idiot he's been? Seems like it. Adam, you were talking earlier about how his instincts are all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes that here.
What's up, Eric? I've been waiting for a Costco live stream. Well, we finally got it. I should have walked around and just messed with people inside. That would have been better than this, but I don't know.
So
nothing you can do about that.
Right, yeah. How can you possibly fix that? I
Already
should
in
be
the car.
inside the Costco where it might be more interesting. And he could do his pranks. He could do the thing where he like drops some candy on the ground and goes like, oh, that fell out of your cart, sir. I don't eat Snickers. Fell out of your cart.
Well, the car doors are locked and the wife has the keys, so there's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I think he's stuck in this prison that he's in. But it's not all bad because he is making some money.
Coffee fund. John Coors, $10. Yeah. Thank you, John. They're spending money like it's going out of style. So thank you.
All right, so his family's inside Costco spending all of his money, but he made $10 in the car. What are the chances he tells his wife that when she gets back? It's like, I made $10 while I was in here, so time well spent for me.
I think he got sent to the car because he started singing that "I'm Bored" song while he was in the store, and he just
exactly
kept
right.
it going. Like, this is gold.
That's possible, I suppose. All right, so then people in the chat start clowning him for his new YouTube channel.
Bro, where's the leash? I don't get it. What, are you making fun of my other YouTube channel, Opie Unleashed?
Yep.
Probably. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, that's cute. Make fun of it. What am I gonna do? It's a perfect name for a YouTube channel when you're trying to stand out among fucking millions and millions of YouTube channels. So yeah, Opie Unleashed NYC is my other YouTube channel, and it's a perfect name for it.
What is that? This defensiveness over a channel that has 1,600 subscribers. And Opie's just like, no, I picked the perfect name. It's a lot of competition on YouTube. I found the perfect name that works. Is it working? Is that narcissism? What is going on there, Adam?
It's also crazy to see how within the same breath, someone will chat something nice and he leans back and he's like, you get it. You're my friend.
Yeah.
I love you. We're on the same page. You're a good person. And then the next chat is something critical and he's like, fuck all y'all. All you chatters are liars. You're all full of shit. Everything you say is bullshit. You can't just believe one and negate the other, Opie. I mean, Unleashed might be a fine title, but you're changing everything but the act. Try changing the act.
No, but he doesn't have to do that. Adam, he's found the perfect balance and the perfect YouTube channel. He's sure of it. I like his confidence on that, even though it's not doing well. Well, then a question comes in about coming on this very show. And Opie deflects the way that he does best.
Are you going on Who Are These Podcasts anytime soon by any chance? Why would I do that? No, I don't go on other people's podcasts. No.
Well, there's two reasons why he won't be on this show. One, he doesn't go on other people's podcasts. And two, he's not invited.
Yeah, right.
No one's looking for Opie on this show. He would suck the life out of this show.
You are so boring.
So boring.
And once again, can we just point out that he says, I'd do anything to make this podcast work. I'm trying everything I can. It is impossible to, be seen among the millions and millions of podcasts that are out there. Well, I'm pretty sure if you were to ask any starting podcaster or they were to ask advice, what's one of the first things I should do to grow my podcast? Well, you have to do other people's podcasts. Yep. That's pretty much how it's done. So first things first, because his instincts are so great, he's going to shoot himself in the foot before he even starts.
And Opie obviously knows that. On the Opie and Anthony show, celebrities came on all the time because they were promoting projects that they had. That was the only reason why they were there. That's the whole point of the publicist sending them out and doing the media rounds. And so the question goes up, we go on Who Are These Podcasts? He knows who we are. He knows that this is unfriendly territory, but he has to pretend he doesn't. So he just goes, no, I don't go on any podcasts. I mean, that wasn't the question.
Both him and John have a similar thing where they think this Dabbleverse was just created the day they became aware of it and that it was created specifically to ruin their lives.
Right.
That's what they think. They don't realize this was going on during the Stern and Opie and Anthony days. There were message boards that did all of this. You were just so far above it in your mind and didn't need anything from these people on these boards that you could just ignore it. Well, now you need something from those people because the audience has gotten smaller and your reach has gotten smaller. Well, these are those same people who had the same critiques about you then. You're just becoming aware of it now. They've been doing this longer than you. So you should listen to them and maybe play ball just a little bit. Maybe just think maybe they have something worthwhile to say. Maybe working with the potato or jumping on some of these shows will grow you as a person and as an artist and your audience, because alone in your car in the backseat at Costco isn't working, buddy.
He's got no agent. He's got no manager. There was no one helping him with this at all. And if they tried to, they got frustrated and left, because the idea, and I'm not saying Opie should go on this show or Kevin Brennan's show or anything that's in the shitverse. Opie needs to expand out far away from that. Like Howard Stern has created a whole new audience. It's like people who watch The View now watch Howard Stern or listen to Howard Stern. Like Opie is trying to do that same thing without putting any effort into that at all. He's got to find that new audience somewhere by going on other people's shows and promoting this. So then, of course, Jim Norton gets brought up again.
Are you enjoying Jim's new podcast? It's getting a lot of buzz. Good for Jim Norton. No, I'm not enjoying it. I told you I saw one clip where his significant other, I think I could say it that way without offending anybody. Jim Norton's significant other, Jim Norton.
The trans woman that he married, yeah, Opie, it's fine. You don't have to keep doing this.
People point this out all the time
get
that, at least by example, Opie is so much more racist than any of the people he works with. What he just said is so passive aggressive. If you were to say that in front of someone who's like, "Oh, this is my wife," and you were like, "Oh, this is Jim's, significant other," or whatever you want to say, Jim would never talk to you again, and you would be an asshole. But you say that. That's what racism is. It's like, I never think about those people. How could I possibly be racist? No shit, Opie.
Yeah, well, the example that we had last time, where he's telling the guy who's filling his tires up that he's not going to call ICE on him.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, holy shit, Opie. You just assume a guy with an accent is here illegally and needs to be deported?
How did we arrive there? Because he was thinking it the entire time.
Correct.
Yeah,
None of
because
us would think that.
His mind and his sense of humor see someone and they go to the most basic racist, analogy they can think of and then throw it back at them.
Jim Norton's significant other. Jim Norton's married, and his significant other was grossed out by Jim's farts, and it was a clip, and they're laughing and the stupid thing had like 100,000 views. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
All right. Nice to see you wouldn't sink to that level.
I know, right? He's filming people cleaning up their dog shit in Manhattan. He's going, "Oh, this guy's doing jokes about farts? Come on." So, of course, Opie has the very famous
skunk fart.
He loves fart jokes. But he's not even understanding that's not Jim's new podcast. When people say, "Hey, have you been enjoying Jim's new podcast?" Jim has a podcast outside of the one he does with Nikki Norton where he brings on other comedians and pretty big celebrities, and they're killing it. It's a great show. Call-in show, advice show, very fun. And so the question, "Hey, have you been enjoying his new show?" Opie can't be honest and go, "Nah, I can't bring myself to watch it. I don't care about Jim. I don't like him. I don't want to watch it." Instead he goes, "I saw a clip and it sucked." Not even the show. Not even the show. And the clip that you saw, people enjoyed. Let's get back to, I offer some criticism to our boy Greg Hughes here, but I think that Anthony, much more successful than I've ever been, would offer some better criticism.
Ew, he's still going after me. Herbert,
pause it.
Herbert's still going.
Pause. This isn't going after him. I watched the show at Gephardt's. I critiqued a few things. I said that Opie should turn that chat off. You have two other people in the same room you're in discussing things, and he's not paying a second of attention to these other guys. You got some mental patient telling a story in the back, which is great. He just repeats himself. Not Opie, the
He's talking about Rob the waiter, by the way.
Mental patient behind him. I don't know what his name is, but he's just going off on something, and like it would be funnier if Opie was paying attention and could comment on some of the lunacy. This isn't even an insult. Yes, I did watch the show at Gephardt's. Yes, I did talk about it. I wasn't making fun of him squinting. I'm going, look at him squinting. Like he's trying to read the chat and he's squinting. And he had said in a previous episode that no matter what, he's not wearing glasses because he doesn't want to look silly like I do with my crazy glasses. Let her rip.
Going after me? Oh my God. Here's something. When you spend most of your show going after others and there's a whole world out there, that's all they do. They don't have material. They have nothing. They're lazy.
I can't believe he said that with a straight face.
I know. The fact that he would say someone else doesn't have material and are lazy is rich, coming from Greg Opie Hughes, the laziest guy we see doing this. Honestly, and I was talking about, it was when we were doing, I think, Point Dabble Point. I was talking to Shuley about how Stuttering John told Ricky Melton he could do 90 minutes. Ricky asked him, how much time can he do when he asked him to do a guest spot? And John goes, I can do anything from 10 to 90 minutes. And I said, John can't do 90 minutes. That's ridiculous. And Shuley goes, no, he can do 90 minutes. He can do a 90-minute podcast if there wasn't a chat. The thing with Opie and with Zumak and Kevin Brennan, all these guys. If there isn't a chat to react to, they've got nothing. They come in there with nothing. And you see it in the beginning of the shows. If they're not doing roll call, they're talking about mundane shit like the weather. So this idea that Opie is saying that these shows that just critique other shows are lazy, I've spent most of my week prepping for the shows that I've done.
I remember
it takes a lot of work.
The first time I did some interview thing on Instagram Live, and this was many years ago, and it was a person much younger than me running the interview, and I remember something in the chat popped up, and it was from a name I recognized, my buddy Brian, and in the middle of the interview I was like, oh, hey, Brian, and I said something about that, and I'll never forget the look the host gave me. It was just like this, like, oh, look at the boomers, looking at the chat. And he just gave me this kind of like I felt it was something, and I knew it was about what I was doing. And it took me a little while to figure it out, but I realized, what I'm doing is a very, very basic, look at the jingly keys thing. And if you want to be a guest on a show, you have to just completely ignore the chat and just focus on the host. I had to learn that in an embarrassing way, but I learned it through that experience many years ago. Anthony, me, you, pretty much anyone that's ever been on this show and covered Opie has said, Opie, stop looking at the chat. We've told him directly, and he won't do it. He won't do it.
It's his security blanket. It's his security blanket because he
He
doesn't have a thought in his head.
Nope.
He's not an
And in his
interesting
mind,
guy.
he's like, Howard had Robin. This is very, very different, Opie. And also, I
Yes.
love how Anthony not only gives him good, practical, real advice, but he's very comfortable saying, yeah, I watched your show.
Oh,
He doesn't have to say, some friends called me to give me reviews of your show.
Right.
Like that's a thing that
Stupid Google algorithm. I was falling asleep and it just started auto playing your show, and then I woke up. It's like, no. When I see that you have a new episode out, I click on it and I check it out. I want to see what you're doing. What's wrong with that? It's great.
I'm going to talk about it on my show. It
Yeah.
doesn't make you sound weak or insecure to say you watched it.
Just the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank the people who are supporting our show, and you can do that at supertip.gg/WATP, like this fine fella.
TV's Adam Busch. This is my natural voice. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. W by why? Ha 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 ha.
To anyone who didn't catch Tukey Soup last night, you need to hear Tukey doing an Opie impression, because he is doing Opie out of Tukey's voice, which is a very, very hard thing to pull off, and he does it so well. It's really amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah. By the way, programming note, we will be adding a number of voices to the Super Tip system, including Adam Busch. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. Jay Wolfenstein says, I won't say Opie is bad at this, but I will say I'm a better podcaster than him, and I've never done a podcast ever. I agree with you. I think everyone in the chat would do a better job than Opie. Barrister 1401, $10. Said that Opie's family locks him in the car while they go shopping. Hopefully they cracked a window for him. Next time they should put him on a leash and take him inside. I'm telling you guys, and call me crazy, everyone's disagreeing with me. I think it's just the opposite. I think they're going, come on, it's a family thing we're doing. We're going to Costco. And Opie's going, no, I gotta get my fix. I gotta go talk to my people on my phone.
Oh, and
I assume that the family likes Opie and wants him around. Is that crazy?
Yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think
crazy.
they do. What's there to like? Like, he's just not open to anything. And you saw at the end of the episode, it ends, you couldn't script it any better. Opie gets a call from his wife on the phone that he's streaming with, and has to and he looks like he got caught. He looks like he's not where he's supposed to be or doing what he's supposed to be. And like, he might have told his wife, like a real addict, I got to run to the bank. Shit. And now he's caught doing this, and he ends the stream and then drives away to pick up his wife and kids so they can go back to living this family life without him.
And going back to that, the comment that was made on Tukey Soup last night when I was watching that clip was, he is embarrassed, so he drove to a part of the parking lot because you don't see cars around him.
Oh, yeah.
So he went to a remote part of the parking lot, which is why he wasn't getting a Wi-Fi signal, which is why it was not broadcasting well. And then, the phone call from his wife tells you that he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing, and he got caught.
The body language was amazing.
Like, she probably walked out to where the car was parked, was like, Where the fuck is the car?
I was looking at porn.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about Anthony. I was looking at porn. I swear.
All right. Band Practice Guy sent this into me, and I trust Band Practice Guy. I'll be honest, I haven't watched this yet. So I just want to give it a shot and see if this is good.
I love to eat peanut butter. I love to eat honey. And I also love to eat beans. Beans. I look great. I feel great. Beans. I look great.
That's right. We got some Jerry Banfield coming up. You know, Jerry is a lot of things, a YouTuber, a comedian, a musician. He just put out a brand new track. So I thought we could check this out. He puts out a song every single day. And apparently this one is a banger. Let's see. This is called Song 326.
I like it.
Jerry Banfield back on that mic with that freestyle. Song 326. It's not been a while. I'm back. Yes, I'm back. Ooh, I'm back with some funk. Yes, I'm back. Let's go. God, that was so obnoxious. I can't stand everything he does. It's obvious. All he does is get paid to do crypto videos. Why is he making this music like he's in his studio doing something original? I can't believe anything is better or worse than his whack stuff. Jerry Banfield, give me some of that trash stuff.
Why does he keep trying to do this?
It's getting away from him a little bit.
Like, if I failed this miserably at something, I would stop doing it after a little while. But he's also, you can hear the haters. He's like freestyling songs about, why is this guy always doing shitty rap songs? He looks stupid. What a fucking moron. It's like, wait a second. Whose voice is this?
And he's not even looking at the chat. Opie.
I want you to shill something besides ICP so I can ride with the nasty crypto portfolio so you can see what I'm making, yo. All those kind of money and I want something funny, but God, get that rhyme out, set the time out, sync it up, back it up, stick it in there. Go hard, freestyle is my card, secret rapper, coming with the trapper, never the cheek slapper. I freestyle for a minute, but I haven't said anything that will diminish your life and finish off your wife. Give me that special in the life.
Wait, was that about Aaron Imholt?
Yeah.
Just now?
We were all thinking it.
Now we're finishing off wives? What's going on here? Well, your Vaporous guy is not disappointing. This goes on for 5.5 minutes. I don't think I could do that. But I do want to thank Anthony, who is here watching Compound Media, $20. Thank you very much, Anthony. He says, good show, guys. I wasn't watching. I saw a clip.
An older boy told me.
Very good.
Jerry Banfield music and going all over in my flowing. I stick with internet computer because I want it in the tutor. How I show you this router.
At this point, I'd just be like, all right, let me just try that again. Let's start over. This is not happening.
He's open to anything as long as it will rhyme. If he can find the rhyme, he'll just say anything.
I'm watching CP. I gotta use TP after I do.
I love playing Yahtzee, and I love.
From poor to rich, pack my bags and then stitch this gaping wound of crypto, nasty lies and bad show, wearing down my heart. Yo, open my eyes, give me those thighs, let me see the real prize.
Okay, I think it's enough. I think I'm tapping out.
It's getting a little blue
at that point. All right, you ready to cover my boy Stuttering John Melendez?
Finally.
Let's do it.
Bloody ass. Can I get a little sympathy? Because I got a bloody ass. I'm bleeding generously because I got a bloody ass.
So Stuttering John is back on Cameo again. And thank you to Dabblers Anonymous for posting this one because John, it's getting to him. He's not enjoying himself.
Hey, Carrie, this is the world-famous Stuttering John, who you're ultimately obsessed with, much like the rest of your ilk. Now, you're a really ugly person inside, and because I know what...
Thanks for the $56, by the way. Holy shit. We're off to a good start. John's obviously getting laid all the time and loving life like he's been telling us. You can tell.
Because I know what you look like on the outside, it certainly matches what's on the inside. You can see it on my Twitter at Stuttering John M. You are one fugly bastard. Anyway, you want to say, well, Drunky, since abject poverty has driven you back to Cameo, well, that's interesting since I've been doing Cameo for about 10 years now when it first came out.
Okay.
And then I just rediscovered it after I left the Dabbleverse.
I mean, you're not being honest with yourself now, John. Just because you already failed at this one time doesn't mean that, oh, holy shit, what was that thing I used to do? That's right, Cameo. Okay.
But maybe you could address this another Valentine's Day has come and gone. What happa to your Costa Rican and Vietnamese girlfriends? Well, Costa Rican, it was 3 girlfriends ago, and the Vietnamese was about 5. Unlike you, Carrie, I'm good looking enough to, well, let's just say bed down the ladies.
Ugh. Why try and be coy about it?
He's good looking enough to bed down the ladies. What's hilarious about this is that he talks about, you know, he's bragging about these girlfriends before, and now he's saying, oh my God, I've had plenty of girlfriends since then. But he also just recently announced that he christened his Cape Coral bed. He finally got laid for the first time. So when you're in your late 50s, what is having a girlfriend if there's no sex involved?
No life at all. And
I mean, that's not a girlfriend. That's my point. Like, don't brag about having a girlfriend if she wants nothing to do with your penis.
He did announce that his new girlfriend was a lawyer, so I'm just going to stay quiet because I
right.
I know that's true, and if she has his back the way I know she does, she's going to be, involved in a lot of litigation. I just don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Anyway, what happened with Kate Meany? Oh, that's right. She humiliated you again. Well, she's a very sick individual, but then again, that's pretty obvious judging by any interview she does. And you're saying I haven't seen any gay sheesh in a decade. And you're calling me a bum loser. Well, who's the bigger loser? The loser or the loser that's paying him $78 to record this? Thank you, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway.
That's not his exact quote. I've watched Star Wars a few times. That's not precisely what he said there.
Why does he
I
look
love
like
this. By the way, I just want to say to Carrie who sent this in, I love everything that you've written into this cameo request. This is fantastic. And what's that, Adam?
No, he looks like a little orphan shoe shine boy, clean your chimney sweep, and like he's wearing his older brother's leftover clothes that he pulled out of the dumpster.
He's like a hobo from the 30s.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't exist in our world anymore. He's like, he just jumped off the train into the next town.
Yeah, he takes off his seatbelt and he has his bindle stiff and his stick and he's just riding the rails.
Yeah. This is so crazy.
And when he started speaking, he sounds like he hadn't said a word to anyone all day long. And that was the first time.
Yep.
It was like, how you doing?
And he's so fired up. Like, he had to get off YouTube because everyone beat him. He lost in the Dabbleverse. Like, he couldn't take it anymore. And he got tired of reading all these insulting super chats. And so he thought he'd go to Cameo and there'll be some insults, but whatever. It's more money and it won't be as frequent. And you could tell this is getting to him because he comes out and goes, hey, fucko, you're fucking ugly. Go screw. Okay, we're off to a good start here.
Hey, no, I've been getting laid on a regular basis. But that is known as projection, Carrie, because judging by your looks, you probably haven't seen the gay sheesh.
So you're going to tell me that this 7-year-old lesbian is getting laid on a regular basis?
Yeah, he looks like Pete Rose right there.
Yeah,
he thinks he has the same number of accomplishments, so there's that.
Yep.
since you came out of your mom's ugly womb.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Can wombs be ugly? Out of her ugly womb.
This is Stuttering John saying, "Kiki yeah."
Good stuff, John.
Well, Andy was right. He turned into a monster.
He really did. Yes, Andy called it before anyone else, I'm pretty sure.
Of course, he has to list all the insults in their entirety, just in case anyone missed them. You know, we can't see the insults, so
Right.
we only know because you tell them, and you know.
Got to
we're
give him
gonna
his
see.
money's worth. I don't want any chargebacks on this.
Bum loser. I love it.
Yeah.
He has this weird kind of, I don't know. I guess Aaron has it too. They think as long as they can prove that they were in on the embarrassment, they are not embarrassed.
Right.
Like the older kid runs over and like pulls your pants down and everyone laughs and you go around explaining to everyone that it's fine, you're not embarrassed because you told them all to do that and they planned it in advance and then we timed it out to happen. That just makes you insane.
I would have worn a belt if I didn't want that to happen. I
come
purposely
on.
didn't
Yeah.
tie my drawstring so that would happen. Duh.
So weird. So the whole
Joke's
Kate
on
Maney
you.
thing, every time he defends it, it's just like, what are you talking about? Like, you proving that you might have suspected this is happening only makes it worse that you fell for it, not absolve you of it.
All right, so John did a show December 31st, and it was his last show ever, and it was 5 hours long, maybe 5.5. And he got very drunk. And he had a lot of guests on, including Clay Dabbler. And I've only scratched the surface of it. I've been playing clips here and there. I put together a whole package for Point Dabble Point, but then Ricky Melton had so much to say, I didn't really get to much of it. So I have some clips that I want to play from John's last ever podcast, his last ever, what was the name of the show? Hypocrisy Police? Or was it just the Stuttering John podcast at that point? Who even knows? He's not good with branding, this guy. But, of course, VTM is fucking with him and sending Grubhub to his house. And so let's join John as he has to get up to answer the door.
What are they going to
Yeah,
do?
but there's nothing as interesting. That's the problem. Who else is there that's as interesting as?
All right. Yeah, hold on
Ethan Klein is the answer we found out today.
a second, because now I'm getting pissed.
Oh, we've got to be quiet now, Jerry, or else we're gonna piss off all the fans.
Yeah, we got to listen to what he tells the person at the door.
Right.
So, yes. Sometimes it's innocent.
Vincent? Yeah, I did not want to pay him to on this phone. But you did. I just not checking because Bill was answering the door. Well, I said, is it saying don't ring the doorbell? I didn't want to pay this, that's all. Yeah, next time if someone has their attitude don't want any problems. Fucking hell, man. I mean, like, this fucking troll Vince. You know, like,
Did he pay for it again?
yeah, but still, I don't want it. He's disrupting my show.
He's spoiling you on your last show.
Yeah, and hold on, is there any mayonnaise on this?
Oh my god.
You got the link, you fucking little bald dwarf. Oh, what's he got you a sandwich? It looks like some cheap petrol garage sandwich.
All right, Burger King chicken sandwich. He knows I like that.
Oh, okay.
So John was screaming at the Grubhub delivery guy. There's a sign on the door to not ring the doorbell. And of course, Vince knows that. So Vince writes in the notes, there's going to be a sign at the door. Ignore it. We need you to come in. They've been getting prayed by other people. We want this chicken sandwich from Burger King. So John's screaming at the guy, the next time you come here, don't ring the doorbell. It says, don't ring the doorbell. You won't get that guy again, John. Don't worry. And he encourages this behavior by freaking out, flipping out, and then immediately being rewarded with it and eating on camera. These are all the things Vince wants to have happen when he sends these things.
Yeah, he was talking about how much of a interruption and disruption this was while he was tearing it open and
Yes.
about to take a bite of it.
And making
He
sure that it
needs
was
this.
made to his liking. All right, they prepared it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then not too long after that, he says this.
John's address has been out forever.
Who cares?
John, who cares if people come to my house? His address is out there. Zach Hoffman is going, yeah, you know, by the way, Rocco gave out your address today, so expect more deliveries. John goes, who cares? John, you literally have a sign on your door that says don't ring the doorbell, and then you yelled at the guy for ringing the doorbell. You care. It's very obvious.
There was an episode of the Howard Stern show where they have the other guy, Stuttering Vic, in there with John.
Mhm.
And I'm listening to this, and at some point the show cuts out and comes back. And Howard has to explain that he did it because John kept pressing Stuttering Vic to talk about this girl he has a crush on. And he wouldn't, and John kept pushing him to say the name. And I guess finally he did say the name, and Howard had to dump it because you can't do that on the radio. He was doxing people even then, and the way he handled it was exactly, oh, come on, oh, nobody, oh, come on, what's the big deal? It's only a big deal when it happens to him. He knows and has known way before the Dabbleverse that you're not supposed to do that, and he doesn't care.
Oh, he loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting that he was weaponizing it even back then in order to win the argument.
Yeah, and it was all under the guise of stop being, such a loser. What are you afraid of? Man up. Just give the
Right.
name. Who cares? He knows what he's doing. He was threatened by that guy, and he did not want things to go well for him.
What I love about this episode is that Clay Dabbler, he's a smart guy. And he knows why people pick on John and what they say about John. He's paying attention to all of this. And Clay will get his shots in, especially on the last show ever. What has he got to lose? John saying, I'll never come back again. Clay's like, good, I can finally tell you how I really feel about you. And here's an example where they're talking about when John went to Patrick Melton's house.
Welcome.
And so I wanted to film John, and it was funny. And John performed, man. He did comedy.
Yeah.
That was fucking funny. I still laugh at that, and people still laugh at it and watch it.
It was a moment in Dabble history.
Even
Well,
Pinky was watching that laughing.
Yeah,
It's one of the
everyone
best
was
moments.
laughing, especially when you started shaking your arms, man.
Yeah. There was that bit where you look like you bent over weirdly. They say it's because you had a girdle on.
Yeah.
Well, he was
I
picking
think
up that boom box,
The
which I
the
still
boot.
have.
Yeah. I think he was being careful. Yeah, I think he was being careful with the hemorrhoids.
It's a movie called Say Anything.
So John pretends to not understand what he's saying, and pretends to misinterpret what's going on. It's like, hey, remember when you bent over awkwardly and everyone was laughing at you and it looked like you were wearing a girdle? It's like, no, it was a boombox.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about the girdle you were wearing, so you didn't look so fat. It wasn't as embarrassing for you.
And in Say Anything, he's holding that boombox up to win back the love of his life. What are you doing, John?
I never understood that. I don't know why that was his strategy for this. This is how dumb John is. When John talks about movies he likes, he doesn't understand why he likes them. He doesn't understand the message of it. He doesn't understand what makes them entertaining. He's so stupid. Film school graduate, according to him.
Right. He can't even quote a movie.
No. As Obi-Wan said, go fuck yourself.
And what did he say? From Scent of a Woman, hoorah! Or like,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Whatever it was. Not even close. He just watched it, too. So John, his number is doxed, but he turns that into gold.
No, just everyone's like, I guess they doxed my number.
Oh, you're getting calls and texts, are you?
Hi, Johnny. This is the missionary. Hold on.
I wanted to give you a call and see how you're doing. We would love to maybe set up a time to come by.
Hey, watch one. Hold on.
Is that an outreach?
Yeah.
Come on, John. You got this.
Hi, John. These are
Come on. You got this, Johnny. You can do it.
Jesus.
Remember the Trump call? You got this.
It's like the Samaritans.
Oh.
Hi, John. These are the sister missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ. We just wanted to give you a call and see how you're doing. We would love to maybe set up a time to come by and talk with you about church and just help you understand some of our beliefs, and we can hear some of yours. If that's something that you're interested in, just give us a call back at this number. It's 239-888-6395. Hope such a great rest of your day, and remember that God loves you.
Oh dear, doxed. Send her a text back.
Hey, it don't matter. God loves me. It don't matter.
Yeah.
No, God loves me.
God loves everyone.
She just said God loves me. Hey, Clay, your mom's box. Life isn't
Your
going
mom's
to get
box.
better for you.
So John got a voicemail and then played it as if that was owning the trolls.
And then
Karl, you didn't see the funny faces he was doing. You didn't see the funny faces he was doing? That was the joke.
I saw them, Adam. they were not great.
Burned.
Shuley has this thing on the Uncle Rico show where they have this overlay, this filter where he looks like an ape. He was making those faces. I'm like, is that the filter that Shuli uses, or is that John's actual face? Now a super chat comes in and asks him about, hey, do you ever regret the fact that you came after WATP really hard and it started this whole thing?
Thanks for the fiber. It's wild to think that if you'd taken WATP's joke as helpful feedback back then, things could have been so different. Instead, here you are spiraling. Spiraling? You know how much money I made doing this, you dumb fuck? Clay, why don't you tell me how much I made doing this?
You made 100K, 92K this year, probably close to 100 now. No, but then, Lady K, it's not constructive criticism, is it? He's taking the piss. So what should John just say nothing?
We actually gave very good constructive criticism of that episode that we listened to. But John, his big own on this one is just like, what are you talking about? I made $100,000 doing this show. This is the last show where he's leaving the Dabbleverse, and he always says, I don't need the money. It's not about the money. But then when he wants to brag, he's like, no, I made a lot of money off of being the punching bag for the whole Dabbleverse, which is a weird flex.
And the sheer audacity of poking his unpaid employee with a stick and making him go out there and talk about how rich his boss is just so cruel, and
Clay,
he loves it.
Tell him how much money I made, because obviously I tell you that. Because he's even bragging in private conversations. He can't stop himself from doing that. And I did play this on Point Devil Point, but I want to play it again because something comes out here that's very interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. I made almost 96,000.
Oof. Yeah, but like I said, is that from the beginning of your streams or this year?
I only came back. It was like a year and a half.
So John is looking in YouTube, and you can go in the analytics, and you can see how much money you've made. And he goes, 96,000, pretty impressive, right? And Clay goes, yeah, but that's not just this year. John's like, well, no, but I haven't been back that long. I guarantee that goes back to his political show. That's all time, $96,000, which, listen, any creator who can make $96,000, I think that's very impressive. I don't think you should quit your day job, especially if you're only making that over 5 or 6 years on YouTube. Probably not a good source of primary income. But in John's world, that's a win for him for some reason. Him and Kevin Brennan both have this weird thought that nobody else makes money on YouTube but them. It's crazy because most of the people that I watch are making more money than John and Kevin Brennan doing what they do.
And he's bragging that I made all that reading insults.
Right. Like, think about that, too. Like, all of the super chats are mostly clowning him and his family. And he has to read out loud. He's like, yeah, but 96,000, huh?
And it continues to this day with the cameos. He's like,
yeah,
you're the loser that paid me.
Right.
But he said this was all because of the toll it's taking on his family, his work, and his mental health.
Correct.
So he keeps removing everything except the part where he gets abused and it affects his mental health and his family and his jobs. Like, he fights back just enough to continue the war, but not enough to really capitalize on it or be in it.
Adam, it's like a bully's punching you in your face and you rip on him for having sores on their knuckles.
Right.
Afterwards, like the next day at school, you're like, oh, look at all the scabs you got on your knuckles from my cheekbones.
That's my face that did that, everybody. That's this.
Yeah, right.
That's this right here.
That's my face that did that,
Right.
everybody. Like, holy shit, dude. This is not the own that you think it is. You got beat, boy.
But Clay does this a lot. He's really good at it, and he's very subtle with it. He will push back in ways that either John can't immediately respond to or doesn't even understand. I saw the greatest back and forth between them that went kind of unnoticed. John says to him, and he puts his hand up like this, as if, wait, before you speak, look at the palm of my hand and listen to what I'm going to say. He goes, Clay, did you get those jokes I sent you? And Clay goes, jokes? What jokes? What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't get any jokes. John looks all frustrated. He's going, okay, I'll try again. Did you get the jokes I sent you? No, John, I didn't get any the song lyrics. Did you get the song? Oh, the song lyrics. Yeah, I got those. Meaning he just sent him some song lyrics, but really wanted Clay to go with him on this. I'm writing and sending you jokes, aren't you? And Clay pretended to have absolutely no idea what he was talking about and not support him on that in a way that I don't think John caught.
Oh, shit.
But
which episode was that from? Was that from this episode?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay. That's interesting.
But yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah, John expects you, if you're on his side, to go along and lie with him.
Yeah.
You got to go along with his lies and his warped sense of reality, or else you're an asshole.
We've seen him do it with Hitman Dan. Remember when he's like covering part of the screen and he's like, what do you see here, Dan? No, just up here. What do you see here? Tell everybody.
Yeah. Well, speaking of covering part of the screen, this is hilarious because John's all concerned that Clay's going to dock someone, and he panics. And I don't think this would have helped anyway.
Here you go.
All right, don't show the.
What are they going to do?
No, I was afraid it was somebody's number.
No, it's X.
Terry, thanks for the $5. You hear about the kid who ate himself to death in Connecticut? He was online.
Oh, this is another thing. So first, John thinks he's going to block what Clay Dabbler's showing by putting his own hand up in front of the screen.
Oh my God.
Oh, don't show that. Like that's a bad strategy for that. But then the other thing that's happening here is John thinks he knows who Penis Wrinkle is.
Yeah.
He's been trying to figure out what Penis Wrinkle is for a year and a half, and has come up with like 9 different people that Penis Wrinkle is, and every time he finds out he was wrong. But now he's convinced this guy is Terry. And so he's going to let him know that he knows.
Terry, thanks for the $5. You hear about the kid who ate himself to death in Connecticut? He was on lunch at his dead-end cell phone sales job at 8 until it exploded. Look up Tom Survey. Good. Thanks, Terry.
So John's like saying that like, hey, thanks, Terry. Like, I know who you are. And thank God that Clay calls him out on this.
Yeah, but what makes you so sure, John?
I know who it is.
You knew it was Stuart.
Yeah.
And another name before that. You thought it was some celebrity that you used to know.
Yeah. Maybe I'm getting played again. I don't care. I'm leaving anyway. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, that's the biggest tell from John. I don't care and who gives a fuck. As soon as those things come out, he's defeated. He got beat. And that happened right there where Clay goes, yeah, I mean, you thought he was this person. You thought he was that person. You thought he was Shuley for a while. He thought he's a lot of different people. And so he's like, no, now I know it's Terry. And Clay's like, you probably don't, though.
You don't hear that defeated sound from him too often.
I know. All right. Yeah.
He kind of trailed off there.
Clay can put him in his place, which is nice because Rob Saul would never do this.
Nope.
That's why Rob
And it just
sucks.
goes to show you that all those times where he's yelling and screaming and foaming at the mouth red over how hurt he is by what people have done to his family and children, that's not real. He's just performing. He thinks that's what, emotion looks like. Emotion looks like that, what he just did right there. But the same look he had on his face when somebody said the Kate Meany tapes are coming back again, and he just got so small.
Deflated.
Yep. That's him.
So a super chatter comes on and talks about how, early in this episode, John called Shuley's dad. And it was a bitch move. And Clay thought it was a bitch move, which is nice.
I don't know. If you can't beat him, call his daddy on him. Oh.
That's what you're going to get now, John. They're all going to.
Well, he should have thought of that before he started doing some of the things he did to you.
Why the fuck would I give a shit? I mean, yeah, exactly, Chet. What this fucking prick has done to me, I'm gonna suddenly, how dare you call my daddy?
Yeah, we're not gonna bow down to what the dues payer wants. You know what I mean? We're gonna do what we want to do.
So John, I was gonna say masterfully, that's not the right word, but changed the entire point of that by saying like, hey, it's a bitch move to call a guy's dad to try to tell on him. And John quickly changes that into, oh, you don't like that I went after what Shuley didn't want me to do? Well, that's tough titties because Shuley's been saying shit about me. He's like, no, that wasn't the point of that at all.
Nope.
They were calling you out for being a little bitch, calling someone's daddy.
A pussy boy, if you
trying to get him
will.
in trouble.
It just goes to show you that he doesn't talk to anybody about this that's going to give him a real opinion, or he's just incapable of hearing it because, his argument as to why we're all so evil has to change so often. He forgets that the biggest argument and the first thing he would say used to be, they call my mom. They call my mom. They call my mom. And I tried to talk to him about it. A lot of people have tried to talk to him about it. There's no one he has talked to about it that has said, Well, if they're calling your mom, you got to call his dad. That's it. That's the only move. That's what you got to do. If you want this to end, John, if you really care about your kids and your mom, you got to call his dad. That's what happens. He knows that. So him going around searching for someone to say that that was a good idea is so desperate and insecure, and shows he knows what he's doing. And he knows that he's lost.
Throughout this episode, every single guest that comes on is looking for validation for calling Shuli's dad.
The last time I saw anyone try and have a real discussion with him was a year and a half ago when you did a show with him.
Yes.
And what John
he didn't like
what
that.
John did was la 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 la.
Yeah,
la,
started
la.
screaming over me. Right.
Yeah.
Didn't want to hear it.
That's what happens.
All right. So Sunflower Dragon is also a super chatter, and John doesn't know why Sunflower Dragon doesn't like him anymore, and so Clay reminds him, which is fantastic.
Clay. Sunflower Dragon, the fake one.
Oh, is it? I don't know. She don't like you anymore.
Yeah, I know. I know what happened. You have to use a filter because you were discussing. Oh.
It was the doctor. Shit. Where were you, Sunflower Dragon?
Where were you, Clay Dabbler?
Where were you, Clay Dabbler?
With what was it?
Dr. Steve. It was the Dr. Steve shit when you went after Dr. Steve. She used to be a supporter.
Well, I didn't mean to. I was saying like nobody cared because she was defending this Dr. Steve.
Yeah. So anyone that sort of tried to sort of even sway you against it, you lost it, man, big time. You lost it with me. You lost it. Me and you fell out over it.
Who cares?
You're fiery, John. You're fiery.
Who cares?
Again.
So Clay has to remind him, like, yeah, the reason why a lot of people deserted you is because you went through Dr. Steve for no reason, and that was fucked up. Everyone loves Dr. Steve. He did nothing that deserved his life being ruined by you. And John is going, that rings a bell. Dr. Steve, you say, huh? And then they're going through remember you were screaming, where were you, Sunflower Dragon? They're going through the whole thing. John's going, that was me or something? Who cares?
I don't usually yell, but
yeah. Even Clay Davis was like, yeah, remember like you and I stopped being friends over that because it was really fucked up? John's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, who cares?
There's something very similar to Ethan Klein here. They both did the same thing. I remember in that Ethan Klein clip, they were talking about his cold. And somebody chimed in with, well, if you have these symptoms, it probably is not lung cancer. It's probably just A, B, and C. And he said something like, yeah, but this is me, so it's different.
Right.
Meaning, that's fine when everyone else has a cold. This is me. His mind literally cannot, it stops. There's a wall right there. Doxing other people, fine. Doxing me, what the fuck are you all doing? Like the second it was, yeah, but you did things that caused this. Who cares? I mean, who even cares about that? We only care when it happens to me. It's not what I do to other people.
It reminds me of Howard Stern when, and I forget what the interview was, but Howard Stern was the free speech guy against the FCC. And that was like, everyone was rallying with him like, yeah, free speech. Why are they fining him for what he says? And then he goes to satellite and he doesn't not worry about the FCC anymore and do whatever he wants. And then he was upset with something that someone else said on the airwaves. And the interviewer said, yeah, but I thought you were like for free speech. And Howard goes, I'm for my free speech. And it's like, oh, that's a telling moment. Like, oh, you don't actually have any convictions. That was just like convenient for you at that time. And now the opposite is convenient for you. So now you feel this way about it.
Well, yeah, I was inspired to get personally involved in this political cause as soon as it personally affected me. What do you expect from me any other time? I don't understand what you're talking about.
This is great because there's a question about how John is a failure. And they list all these different failures. And the last one is financially he's a failure. And so John's got to come back for that.
And failed. Really? I got a beautiful house in Cape Coral. I got a beautiful boat, beautiful car, and a beautiful Harley. Fuck you.
So Sunflower Dragon says you failed financially. And John's comeback to that he's failed financially is a boat that doesn't exist, which is crazy. He gives 4 things. One of them is a boat that doesn't exist. The other one's a Harley that's over 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, Harleys are really nice vehicles. Everyone loves their Harley. It's not something that is impossible to achieve in life, to afford a Harley.
Yeah. And he ignored all the other failures that were listed before that.
Yes. Well, yeah. He did read through those, but he's just like, failed financially. I got a boat. You don't, though. You're lying.
You never did.
A couple more clips real quick, and then we'll thank people who are supporting the show. Guys, thanks for sticking around. We're doing a marathon episode of WATP today. So much to get to in the Dabbleverse. So this is Zach Hoffman, who's constantly in these streams, super chatting him, and this did not age well, I have to say.
Zach S. Hoffman, thanks for fiber. I got your address from Rocco today, so I'm personally coming over to deliver my special go-away gift to you. YouTube's term service. Yeah, please do. You know, isn't it funny, Chad? They all are big tough guys, but I never seen them here.
Right, yeah, it's one thing to be a keyboard warrior, folks, but it's another thing to show up in person and, Yep.
Look at them noodles.
Clay. Well done. So this is before Chad Zubak showed up at his house and got the police called on him. Yep. John was just like, come on over. Like you were saying earlier in the show, Adam, about the Pickwick Pub thing. I'm here every day at 3. You want to come and talk to me? You want to fight? Here's where I'll be. And even here, he's going, oh, you know where my address is? Whatever, come on over. As soon as he sees a car parked outside of his house, he calls the cops. He called the cops on Chad. He calls the cops on a car that was parked out front of his house. So it didn't age well at all. Last clip I have on here is Clay Dabbler, no longer afraid of John in any way.
Clay, do you want a piece of this shit?
I fucking run circles around you, old man.
Nice. Nice.
No, I want to point out, so John's getting up and going to use the bathroom or something, but he does look feeble here. Listen to, it sounds like he's kicking cans out of his way on the floor as he's getting up.
Clay, do you want a piece of this shit?
I fucking run circles around you, old.
There's a lot of shit on the floor. As he turns, he's got to like get all that stuff out of here. Surprised you didn't hear a cat go, meow. A lot of garbage on the floor you to contest with.
Can we just take a moment to talk about Mr. Chad for a second? Do you remember when we were all discussing before he made his appearance on PDP whether it was an act or whether he was really like that? And I went out on a limb and I said, regardless as to whether he's playing a character, I think he is definitely like that. And everybody told me I was wrong. And then as soon as he got on that PDP and he said a couple words, I saw everyone's eyes go, oh. And then he started talking about how he was really smart because people think he's not smart, but he is really smart. And I thought it was really interesting because I've gotten so much feedback that conflicts. I've gotten people saying, I was totally wrong about him. And look, you were totally right about him. So everybody kind of sees in him, I think, whatever they want to see. And I just love the idea that wherever there's John videos, there's Chad videos. And even right then, when he was putting his arm up and flexing, there was Chad flexing right next to him, like his little mini me right next to him. I like this. There's something very bizarre and strange going on with this man, but I like that he exists, and I like that he is the way he is.
So should we be paying more attention to Clearwater Chad?
Nope, not at all. I think I like that he exists. It doesn't mean I need to get involved personally.
Fair enough.
Because those are long streams. They're very long.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I want to bring on our review girl, Annie. I see that she's having a conversation. Wasn't she's ready? Annie, what's up?
Oh, hello.
Oh,
hey, Karl, you
hello.
forgot to send me this episode script, so, just send it over as soon as you're ready.
Guys, get ready to watch Annie try to ad-lib. This is going to be a disaster. You think she's bad when I write the script. Wait till you see this. Before we move along, I want to thank KJ, who's been a huge supporter of this show, coming in on the super tip system, supertip.gg/WATP. She says, John's moves created by the seatbelt in that cameo. Jugs ahoy. Yeah, it's the fact that he has to sit there with a seatbelt on, too, with the headrest way up. He looks like such a tiny little mutant. It's not a good look.
He looks like a stuffed potato. Everything's too small, and he's busting out of all of it.
I was watching Rico, and they said that he most likely just, pulls over the second it comes in. It's like, oh, okay, let me just do this right now, send the cameo off. It'll take me 57 seconds, and I can get the money by the time I get to where I'm going. Or however cameo works.
It's so true. Everyone who sent him a cameo, who sent me a note about it, always says they get it back immediately. Like, John's just sitting there with nothing to do. And he's like, oh, okay. Fuck you. There's never a second take. He just does it. A rumpled trench coat at Columbo Podcast, $5 says, I would have loved to pay Don Rickles to insult me for a few minutes. SJ is no Don Rickles. He thinks he is. He thinks that this is gold that he's got going on. Help me out with this name.
Vito's Gaia's Cradle for $14.
Gaia's?
Yeah, Gaia.
Okay, I got to get this right.
Earth God.
Because I don't.
Gaia.
Gaia. Okay, because Vito's Gaia's Cradle supports the show a ton, and I appreciate that. Serious question: do you think there's anyone in the Dabbleverse who could actually improve and be better at broadcasting, or are they all lost causes? I think Aaron's gotten worse. I think Aaron could be better than he is.
Yeah, everyone's gotten worse. Everyone is regressing and moving in the wrong direction. Just look at any video of any of these people from 2 years ago. I think, to answer your question, it's really all the Tukis and the Cardiffs and the Luigi Greenbergs. Those people are getting better and better and better and killing it every week. And just watching Rocco's growth from live streaming the lobby of DabbleCon to this now is incredible. That's a documentary in itself. And you watch the talent and confidence grow in all of those people as the people they're covering become smaller and smaller and smaller.
You're right. We were watching Cardiff, and he's got that new show on his Rumble. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but he covers Chad for the most part.
It's called
TV?
Idiot Autopsy.
Oh,
Idiot
Dabbleverse
Autopsy. Thank you. And it's fantastic. It's a great show. And to think about how Cardiff started, where he'd just be doing the voice modulator and be like, chocolate or vanilla, and he was trolling or whatever. But now he's bounced around. He's this personable potato. He's got clips. He's got quips. He's got ideas. It's crazy. Like, wow, this guy's really peeled his skin off. I'm trying to think of a potato pun. I couldn't really come up with one, but one day I will. One day I'll figure it out. Annie, do you have any new reviews you can read for us, being a review girl?
Yeah, I got one from Australia from Turtle Moat. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Stut Joe is an idiot, but one trick has Mrs. Norris in the best shape of her life. Between the program ads and the endless oil shilling, this is some content that's okay.
Okay. I'm not even sure what to make of that one, but I'm hoping that is a 5-star review.
No, that one's a 1-star review.
Oh.
5-star review, guys. 5-star review.
Yeah, we need 5 stars and then shout outs in the comment section. That's what keeps it fun and helps the algorithm for us.
That wasn't funny at all.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I don't even get it.
All right, we're going to hit some voicemails and then get out of here. Thank you so much for watching live. Every Wednesday, 5:30 on this channel, tune in to see WATP. And I have to say, I don't want to jinx anything, but I didn't even humiliate myself with technical problems this time. Anyone else notice that? Huh?
Show's not over yet.
You're right. All right, let's check out some voicemails. We had some good voicemails coming in. One talking about Opie, one talking about Patrick Michael. Just way too goddamn long. I haven't said this in a little while. 45 seconds. Try to get to your point in 45 seconds. This guy gets a little bit of a pass.
Hey, Karl. The best part of your last show Sunday was Ricky Melton's remembrance of dealing with Stuttering John when he did that guest spot for him in Florida. John showing up at the wrong address, drinking 20 beers.
Yep.
Crazy stuff. Along the same vein, can you get an interview with Dante, his former manager, or possibly Royce, his former partner?
Mm-hmm.
Or, of course, the top get of all time would be an interview, long-form interview with Susanna.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear how she dealt with Stuttering John when he first got to Tonight Show and he was on top of the world. And then later, how she dealt with John after he lost his job with Jay Leno and he couldn't even get a job until he came up with that podcasting idea. So I'd love to hear her thoughts on dealing with Stuttering John over the years. That would be worth a book by itself. I'd pay big money for that kind of interview. Real money out of my pocket.
Okay.
I'd crack open my 401k for that kind of an interview.
Wow.
Rock and roll.
All right. Well, where do I send the invoice to when I get that exclusive?
You know, Gary, there was an old episode of John's show where he talks about having Thanksgiving dinner with Susanna's family and his family all when they were living in Calabasas in that big house. Now, John tells this story, and it's always kind of haunted me because I don't know what John was doing during the dinner. He was giving a toast or something, but he says at some point, Susanna's mother gets up and looks at him and says, "You're drunk. How can you be this drunk?" And John told us this story as if our instincts were, oh, well, obviously this woman's crazy and you were sober and fine. Thank you for pointing out how crazy Susanna's family is. He really believed that and told us that story. So if that's just the bit of his family life that he's willing to let us know, you're right. I don't think we could ever imagine what must be going on there, which is why it's very hard to find John saying a bad word about her unless he's talking to Kate.
Right, which
or Alonzo Bowden, or Anthony Cumia.
Yes,
Yeah.
Tape season 2 coming soon. Big announcement coming very soon for DabbleCon 3. But honestly, I don't think I would want to interview Susanna. I think that'd be stepping over the line. I wouldn't want John interviewing my exes. It seems weird.
Yeah,
that's family. That's kind of a different thing. I would definitely talk to Royce or Dante. You know, his former agent and former
Dante will
co-host.
have a
That'd be
lot to say.
interesting.
I bet he'll do it.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. He'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
okay. I'll reach out to Dante. see
If
what's
I
up with
recall
that.
correctly, John used to say that he was in contact with one of your exes.
He did, yes. He threatened me with that. He was going to have an ex on his show. He was lying, of course. And I was
Yeah,
never
but that was the
nervous
same
about
time
it.
he was talking about how he was having an affair with your wife.
That's
actively.
true. Or the time that he said that he was he had nudes of my wife that he was sharing with people, and I was like, oh, that's pretty illegal. You might want to stop saying that, idiots. Super tip coming in from Hackamania VIP Tim Bollinger. Oh, we'll see you at Hackamania, buddy. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to see you and Jenny's sweet, sweet jugs in Vegas. Well, I'll let her know to gussy them up for you, Tim. We'll make sure it's on point, if you catch my drift. All right. Back to the voicemails. Top Lobster had some critics. He had some supporters. Pretty controversial co-host.
Hey there, Karl. I just want to say thanks for bringing Top Lobster on the show. It's really kind of a breath of fresh air getting someone so incredulous. He's got such funny takes on everything. Honestly, really good guest. I hope you have him on more often. That'd be really great. But that Adam Busch guy, yeah, he's great too. Bye.
You see that, Adam? You thought for a second.
It was a roller coaster in my heart.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Are you okay, man?
Not really.
Yeah, Top Lobster is great on the show. I like having someone in who doesn't know all the lore and you kind of have to explain it to them. I think that's fun. It's a fun way to like watch someone's reactions, like seeing that through their eyes of like, can you believe this boob that we talk about? Like, whoa, he does that. But the subreddit disagrees with me wholeheartly.
Yes, it was not polarizing. It
Nope,
was.
everyone had the same opinion. Top Lobster sucks. He's great though on the show. I honestly think just he's so poised and he knows his place, and if he has something to say, he'll say it. Very similar to Adam. I like that about him.
He was the one who said on that episode, he came up with that brilliant idea of supporting the Sams and the other Ricky Meltons and the people that they come in contact with. And he came to that being green to it, just seeing it kind of for the first time. And it was interesting to see what he was sympathetic towards and what he couldn't tolerate. Yeah.
Smart.
Hey, thanks for the nausea-inducing description of Aaron licking semen off his then-wife's chest. But it does pose an interesting question. Do we know that Slam Piece, by the way, what a class act that guy is, Slam Piece is actually a female? I mean, it's clear that Aaron's really comfortable with men in sexual situations. All right, bye.
Interesting. That's a new theory.
Well, her name is Anne. So.
You know what? It's funny. I'm glad you brought it up first. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, how can Anne be? Oh, wait, hold on. All right. This is the president of the Jenny Jingles fan club out of Syracuse.
Hey, Karl, Ronnie in Syracuse calling on behalf of the Central New York chapter of the Jenny Jingles fan club. By the way, still love you and love the show. We accept your proposal for compromise to include Jenny and Lucy Tightbox in the Met News segment. As long as you keep Jenny in there, we are happy with that resolution. Okay. So just wanted to say that. And Top Lobster was talking about, or when you had Top Lobster on, you guys were talking about, somebody was talking about washing your hands. That idiot that you were talking about. Washing your hands when you come out of the bathroom, that debate has reignited. I don't understand this. If you're not touching me or my food, or I'm not touching anything that you're touching, who cares if you wash your hands or not? I'm not saying that I do or I don't wash my hands, but I really don't understand how you can look at somebody and say, oh, you're a disgusting person because you didn't wash your hands. Who the hell cares? Live and let live. Right, Karl? Don't call me back.
No, I totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm interested in your guys' takes on that. You guys okay with someone not washing their hands?
So this is
after
not a
shitting?
live and let live scenario. This
Yeah,
is not
I was-
you're
Right.
directly. You ever see those videos of a toilet when you flush it and all the particles that we can't
Mhm.
see that come out? Like, that's reason enough. You don't have to have physically touched. I can't believe I'm explaining this to somebody.
Right.
You
No
don't have to physically touch it for
Have
it
you
to
ever
just
been
be...
on a subway train?
Yeah.
Like, we're all touching the same shit everywhere
Mhm.
in the world. That's what's happening. People need to wash their hands and not have shit particles.
And you're right. You can do whatever you want, live and let live. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna shake your hand or I want to come anywhere near you. Really.
But there was a comment on our Patreon about this. I actually took screen grabs and sent them to Top Lobster because even he was saying, it's like, well, if you have enough toilet paper or you're not touching shit, what's the difference? Toilet paper is very thin. I mean, this is a porous material that's between you and the shit. Wash your goddamn hands is my point. I don't care how many layers you put around your hand before you shove it up your asshole.
And by the way, no one here thinks that you do wash your hands and you're just pontificating. It doesn't work like that. You're like, of course I do it, but I'm just curious. If somebody were to
What if I
not
didn't?
do that,
If
yeah,
I
what
did,
would
I'd be
all-
cool, right? You guys would still hang out with me?
I don't see anything wrong with it, even though I do it. Of course I do it all the time. But I wouldn't judge somebody. Then I'd be an asshole.
Asking for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan in Arizona calling in.
Hey, you fucking faggot, you beetle-loving cocksucker.
That's me.
This is Dylan from Arizona. Hey, I just wanted to give you an update. The Maricopa County attorney is trying to get a hold of stuttering hunthole fucking retard fuck.
Huh?
And he is filing charges against Stuttering John Melendez for doxing me and for criminal harassment. And tell that fucking potato, call me.
Does
All
this
right.
guy have Tourette's?
Love you, Karl.
I don't know. He called back 2 other times, and both other times were unlistenable. I don't know if he was in a windstorm or he has bad cell service or both, but I wasn't sure what to make of that. There's a lot of swearing involved. Probably should have told everyone, not safe for work. Last voicemail I have.
Vic is not a submarine person. She's too fucking tall, and they would rape her. Because women on a submarine would get raped. And they don't want that. That's a lot of paperwork, man. She's on a destroyer, FYI.
Have you seen Vic? You think that's the problem
I
here?
stand corrected, I guess.
I don't think that. I think she'd be fine on a submarine. But I will say, I mentioned I reached out to Vic. I hadn't heard back. I did hear back from Vic. She's in the Red Sea right now. I asked her to come on episode 600. She will not be able to for that very reason. But she's doing well. She posted on her Instagram recently. People probably saw it. She cut her hair fucking ridiculously. It looks like she cut her own hair. It's very short and all over the place. And she seems to be having fun wherever she is.
The Red Sea.
Being deployed. I was confused. I thought that Trump stopped having women in the military, but apparently that's not the case. So ISIS, if you want to strike, you still got a window. The window is still open for you. But Vic is doing great, and it was good to hear from her and see that she's doing well in the Navy. And guys, episode 600 is coming up a week from today. So write your parody songs about WTP and how much we suck. Send those in. If people have jokes about us or anything they want to do to put together, send that in. We've been getting stuff in already. Should be a really fun show. Adam will be here. Producer Chris will be here. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Andy, people should check you out at insanity.com.
Absolutely. You can check out everything I'm working on in my latest episode of my podcast and the new one that's going to come out soon. Thank you very much.
Jay Wolfenstein, one more time, $2. WTP reviewing Morse vs. When, the worst show ever. Yeah, that might need the WTP treatment. Just because they torture me with that stupid theme song when I go on their show. It really is mind-bogglingly bad. Adam, any final thoughts on this?
Is the Morse versus show, or is it just like a mental state? What is that? What is it? I just know those
It's
songs.
a lifestyle, yeah.
I assumed that there was a channel involved, but I think it started as a joke about Levyverse being a channel in a show. So I honestly haven't looked it up. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Well said.
I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Okay, bye. A plane has hit. I rewatch iCarly. Boom.
Too soon.
Mom. Boom. Boom.
Go fuck yourselves. Have a good week.
That was a great episode.
That was really great.
Man, that was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
I enjoyed that.
Okay, bye.
Why are you calling me?